week, James, must have been pretty taxing on you personally. How did you cope with all that?
Very well. You take your challenges and you go forward and you meet them head on, and away we go. Like, how do I say this? People say things and they're untrue, and you know you've got truth on your side. You go hard, and when you get your opportunity, you tell the whole truth. And when the truth comes out, I think I'll be in a very, very good position in the Essendons Football Club.
Can you address Andrew Demetrio's suggestion that you should consider stepping down, particularly in the light of what's just happened out there?
Well, I don't really want to address it, except that I'm the coach of the Essendon Football Club. Until someone tells me I'm not, then I'm the coach of the Essendon Football Club.
First tonight, that deepening crisis surrounding the Essendon Football Club.
One of Australian football's biggest stars is tonight at the centre of a storm over the use of performance-enhancing supplements.
I will make comment to these upsetting claims, but at present I can't because of the AFL and SARDA investigation.
Heard is vehemently denying he took performance-enhancing drugs.
If any coach or official puts the duty of care of their players at risk, then they will be held accountable.
If he did, and he didn't know about it, it just goes to the very heart of that cowboy environment out there last year.
No person, no action that seeks to gain advantage by improper means will be tolerated in this code.
If anyone at our club has breached the duty of care, the board will act.
Essendon is already under investigation for its supplement program. This morning, it became personal.
The tech show almost the entire Essendon playing group were on the supplements program.
That is the IB list that will be completed by Wednesday night.
Good work today, mate. The boys were up and about. We've a lot to work with.
IB start next week, and Thymosin with ubiquinone. We will start to see some real effects.
These are clearly treatments which are pushing the envelope.
James Hird is a person of great respect of this club and indeed the football community, and the board will not be making decisions about the next steps until the processes of the review and the investigation take their course.
All the evidence circumstantially says that there's going to be more and more damage done down the track.
I can't wait to clear my name. Thank you.
If Hird is found to have taken these substances, and that's a big if, his job as an AFL coach would be untenable.
If you or I were accused of dishonesty or unethical behaviour, we'd probably step down while it was sorted out and then hopefully come back when we're clear. Should James Hird consider doing that?
That is an option he has to consider now. I won't be stepping down, and I'd love to go for a walk so I can get ready for the game.
So out come the Bombers on a Friday night. Glad to get out there. Until the last 36 hours behind them, I'm sure. Coming off back-to-back victories, a big one last week, but bear in mind they won 8 of their first 9 games last season, so be careful. Light rain has fallen for the best part of the day. Still dark clouds over Patterson Stadium. Dark clouds over this football team too.
They did win on this ground last year against Fremantle. They get a couple of players in tonight, Kavanagh and Collier, and their rucks have been in excellent form, Richo.
Yeah, they certainly have. They've got the luxury of having 2 genuine A-grade ruckmen, and last week they spent about 50-50 in there, but that man in particular, Paddy Ryder, 20 hit-outs to advantage. It was a display of ruck work haven't seen for a long, long time. He was outstanding. Going to be important tonight. You have to win it out of the middle against Fremantle. If they get first use, they lock it into their forward line.
Kavanagh and Collier, as we mentioned, are the ins, and Collier will start as the sub. Fremantle, well, a big occasion for them. It's their Purple Haze game for the Starlight Foundation, raising money for sick kids and underprivileged. And it is the 200th club game for Luke McFarlane. Of course, previously he was at Hawthorn. One change for them, Ballantyne comes in, and their skipper Matthew Pavlich. It's been a slow start to the season.
Yeah, it has. Really settled lineup, only 23 players used. Ballantyne back in tonight, but you're right, Pavlich hasn't fired as yet. That's a bonus for this football club. I reckon as a big man, after a couple of games, you start to get your touch. You've got a feeling he doesn't mind the wet conditions, Matthew Pavlich. I reckon he may be ready to go all right tonight.
So the toss of the coin.
Your call, Joe. Heads, please. Heads is called. And tails it is.
What are you going to do with the bounce? I think there's more pressure. I think there's more pressure They're going to get more pressure out there tonight from Fremantle, who are the #1 side in pressure than they've experienced externally.
I mentioned to Hurdy when we spoke to him in the pre-game that they had such a wide walkover virtually against Melbourne in the second half. I always found that you always think that our players going to be ready for the real hard contest when they've had half a footy where it's been fairly much low pressure. I think that's Essendon's one of their big problems tonight going in.
Well, in their favour, they were pretty sharp last week and kicked a very big score. But having said that, what a contrast from Melbourne to a Ross Lyon coach team. That's probably about as far as you can go.
Well, Melbourne's second half last week and Fremantle generally is chalk and cheese, isn't it?
Stanton takes a fall. And away we go on another odyssey on a Friday night. Back to the football. Another ruckman touched it. Griffin's got it. Surrounded immediately. Opportunity for Crowley. Fronted by Bell Chambers, and the umpire will ball it up again. As you heard, raining for the best part of the day. Tropical conditions, really. It's been sweltering today, around 32 degrees. Zaharakis upended. So steamy. Crowley, boot to ball. Can be two. He sends it down towards half forward. Ballantyne goes flying out of the congestion. We've got a whistle. Essendon get a free kick. They take advantage. Goes to the outer side. This is Comma. Comma goes down towards the attacking 50. Crameri's in front. Had it knocked away. Butters up again. Reaching in is Dawson. Dawson slaps it away. Taken by Melksham. Comes back to Zaharakis. Was he taken high? No. Melksham. Close quarters to Watson. Gives it to Comma.
So Comma, the West Australian, out on Patterson Stadium. He kicks long. Mzungu, second attempt, couldn't mark. Chance on the ball. Ryder. He paddled it forward. Heppel did well. The handball a bit loose. Mundy upended Hocking. Clearing kick. Long one. And the bouncing ball controlled by Goddard. Handball not so good though. Goddard forced to go again. Mzungu over the footy. Greasy conditions. De Boer to Pearce. Melksham with a hand in there. Back to Pearce like a pinball inside 50 for Essendon.
Well, I think as we mentioned pre-game, Essendon all of a sudden, if they didn't know it before the game, they know now.
Yep.
It's a hot footy today.
It is, and they're broken far too slowly here, the Bombers too.
Johnson to Mundy. Mundy cruises around the other side wing, kicks with a searching kick inside the 50. This could skid on, given the conditions. No. Guess who? We've seen it all before. Fletcher gets back. Hand passes nicely to Dempsey. Carlisle in trouble. Spills back towards Dempsey. 3-on-2 there. Dempsey surrounded by the purple circle, and the ball's gone out of bounds. We'll have a throw in.
Boys, a couple of matchups. Hocking has gone to Mundy. Mundy got away from him far too easily then. Great matchup. Young Nathan Fyfe and Dyson Heppel, two rising stars.
So Bell Chambers, it is, locks up with Griffin. He was so good last week. 4 goals. Pavlich, we mentioned his quiet start to the season. Gathered by Hibbard. Inside defensive 50. Dawson a long way from home with Crameri, and the ball rolls over.
It's this field position issue against Fremantle. This is where Fremantle have been so hard to get the ball out. Once they get the ball in their forward third, very difficult to get it out.
Griffin again started well, got it down to Hill, back in his direction. Mundy was back in the back, play goes on, wide of the pack. Hill running out of space though, almost getting him Goddard. Hooker stood his ground, did brilliantly. Hand passes along the wing. Comma's hand pass to Goddard. Still a live football if you don't mind. Walters slaps it down. Hooker smothered. Close to the boundary line, trying to muscle his way through was Watson, and the ball goes out of bounds.
Can't quite see it on the television. Every player's in that quarter of the field, so very congested. Going to be very hard for Essendon. We have a look, you can count the players. That's almost, it's about 2/3 of the players in the television screen.
No Bruce McAvaney there. He's missing. He's pitching his tent at Randwick. I think he's there already waiting to get in as this ball bounces out of bounds on the wing.
Hey, Lee, you just spoke about that. Fremantle were the hardest team to get it out of your defensive 50 and transition through the middle of the ground, and we're already seeing that now.
They've won 3 of their last 4 against Essendon too, but Ross Lyon has won just 1 of his last 6 against the Bombers. Many of those, of course, with St Kilda. Mzungu, hooker under the footy with him. Subin, a much improved player this season. Big pre-season. We hear that a lot, and the ball again just gently over the line. Ross Lyon, just 1 of the last 6, Tim, against Essendon. Does that surprise you?
It does. It's just a little bit of a surprise too. Crowley's actually gone to Stanton, and De Boer has gone to Watson.
So Bell Chambers caught behind Griffin this time. Fyfe down in front. Here's Mundy. Slipping and sliding. Fife got the handball from Hill. Touch ball, so Hibberd needs to be quick here. Did that nicely. Tackling hard was Walters. Almost a very good mark in the conditions. Not paid to Bell Chambers. Griffin at the back. It came from Hill. Now Hooker under the football, waiting, dangerous. Didn't complete the mark. He goes again back to Fletcher. Clearing kick now. Bell Chambers again. It's like deja vu. He got a handball out. That was well done. And then a little kick forward by the Bombers towards Hurley. It came from Stanton. Loose one in the middle of the ground. De Boer, Mzungu back to De Boer. Stanton gets him. It's loose. It's greasy. It's fast. They're going hard at it. Well done, Cramery.
Oh, down goes McFarlane. And McFarlane is not getting up for the moment at least. Johnson drives it back towards half forward. Main leads in the race. It's been busy at this end of the ground. Hooker with strength got Main down. Main needs to be careful. In close goes to Subin. Subin right on the boundary. Managed to keep it into Griffin. Seen a lot of the football so far. The big guy sends it inside the forward 50. Dyson Heppel. That was a tough one to mark. As a result, he didn't. Fife, Subin, Pavlich right on the 50. Hooks it across the body. Nobody at home. And Hooker takes the defensive mark.
Dennis, there's McFarlane coming off the ground. He was on the ground for 5 to 10 seconds. He tried to get up twice and fell back over. He's not in a good way. Looks like a cut on his chin also.
So 5.5 minutes without a score, even in these greasy conditions. That's something of a surprise. And Melksham couldn't mark, ball fisted over the line.
It's interesting when you have a look at this. I mean, this is a bump. It's a high bump. Should be a free kick. Simple as that. I mean, basically, high contact's a free kick. And frankly, if you initiate the bump as Ryder did, that would be looked at by the match review panel, you'd think.
All-Australian last year in probably the best form of his career. 12 games with the Hawks before switching to Fremantle. We mentioned his 200th club game today. Now socket off the deck by the Bombers. Close to the line. Hibberd was good there. Barlow gathers. Sends it long. De Boer the target. An unlikely target for Fremantle. Now Mundy on the ground. Watson behind him. Mundy couldn't keep his footing.
Let's have a look at this. As soon as you decide to bump, which Ryder did, and then you make high contact, well, basically not allowed to do it. I mean, it's not a head clash, that is a shoulder to chin, basically.
Hill, De Boer, 55 metres out, dangerous spot. They come from all directions. Fletcher's in there. Stanton fell. Hooker, another possession. He's had 5 for the moment. Close to the boundary line it goes out. Cale Hooker grew up barracking for these Dockers.
Luke McFarlane has gone down into the rooms for the dock. He just walked past me here. He's got a pretty big gash under his chin. He'll need some stitches or staples, whatever they do these days. I'm not the doc, but he'll be off for a little while.
Touch ball. Dawson goes high and thumps it out of bounds. No surprise. Ross Lyon must like him. Very much a fixture in Ross Lyon coach teams. Griffin knocks it down. Fife had it for a moment. Duffield grabs it.
And kicks towards Pavlich. A couple of Bombers. Carlisle, Fletcher at the back. Maybe the first score here. The wise old man of football goes boundary side. He played that pretty well. Still in Subin. He can't control it either. And we've now had 7.5 minutes, Lee, with no score in the opening term.
But I think for the last 5 minutes the ball's been in Fremantle's forward half. Essendon's defence has stopped them scoring, so that's the first thing they have to do. But it's been totally in the Dockers forward half.
Inside 50, 7-2 Fremantle, including this one. Quick kick out by the Bombers. It came straight back in. Fife, he got virtually nothing on it. Subin did a little better. And then off Fletcher and ricochets over the line and out of bounds yet again. Essendon first, Fremantle fourth. Round 3 on a Friday night at Patterson Stadium.
Virtually a sellout crowd tonight. Fremantle on the ascent. And their supporters consented. In front, Bell Chambers to Myers. Myers the high ball inside the centre square. Ryder missed the mark. The big fella got the crumb there. Kepler Bradley kicks inside the forward 50. Swooping on the ball is Main. Main hooks it across his body. It's just off target, but the drought is broken with the opening score.
It's an interesting stat so far. They've had 22 behind scored against them, the Dockers, and in the kick-in, which Essendon are about to have, not once has the ball got into the opposition's forward 50. So it's been very hard to get anything attacking out of your kick-ins here against the Dockers.
So Dustin Fletcher then with the footy in his hands. Ryder he went to. Ball on the deck. And last touch over the line.
That's 23 for Neil now, because it's a stoppage play and ball back in neutral again.
Goddard it was with that last touch. His disposal so good. How will it be in the wet tonight? Now, loose ball there. Myers had it knocked away. Quick kick inside again from Hill. Hooker. Main was with him. Composed. Pavlich got Fletcher. Now Ballantyne. He loves this situation. Tough from there. Barlow the fly to try and contest, but well done getting back in the square. Carlisle a good grab.
You're looking at the game, you think, how the hell are Essendon going to get there out of this part of the ground? Because there was just no space, no run, no Essendon player seems to be getting clear. Maybe they've got a chance here.
You've got to go quickly now once they get into this space.
Went quickly, but they got to loft it.
It's a skill to man the mark well, as Clancy Pearce did then. So just he read where Comer was going to move onto his right foot, locked the ball in again.
Knocked down by Griffin. Comer charges through. Got Kavanagh, as it turned out, his teammate was over the footy. Watson lost the footy. Comes to Pearce. High ball again inside the forward 50. Nobody touched it. There was some holding. And it's going to Hooker.
Guys, you're talking about trying to get through this forward press. It's going to be really hard tonight. It's been raining all afternoon. It's very slippery. To get the clean disposal needed, very difficult tonight.
Fletcher got it to Comer on the advantage. Now an opportunity around the outer side. Zaharakis. And this ball runs the gamut like a tightrope walker. Kimball Bradley in the road. Well done by Clancy Pearce. Got free. Goes to the wing. Now a chance for Fremantle. No, they've lost the momentum right there as Duffield decides to hold things up.
So looking for their 11th inside 50 here. It's 10-2 as it stands. And if it gets over the line, there it is. Ballantyne at the back for the first goal of the night. He's back in the team and he delivers. Freo with the first on Friday night.
Well, that showed something. The ball was locked into their foot for 5 minutes, the Dockers. They couldn't generate a score. It's a bit like rope-a-dope. Get it up the half-back line. Essendon came out with the flow of the footy. But when the ball bounced off the half-back line, the Dockers, then the Essendon defence was just not as well positioned. And you know, if you're going to fly, you've got to knock the ball to the front on the half-back line. If it goes over the back, those little guys run onto it.
Well, the errors there committed by the Essendon defenders that actually had to go forward that ball on a night like tonight. Ballantyne's such a clever player.
Ballantyne helping Essendon get the ball back their side of the centre line. Spills out of that pack. Going back into it with a sense of humour was Pearce. It was Clancy Pearce. Down went Mundy. Zaharakis a chance now. Melksham. Zaharakis getting the free best and fairest winner the season before last.
Time back on.
Hampered by injury coming into this season. Good play with the football in his hands. Can find it too. Goes to Melksham. To Goddard. Through the middle. That's a better look. Long ball. Plenty of Dockers around it though. Dawson from behind, intent on destruction. Davey running out of space. Squeezes a kick out. Dawson in the road though. Griffin confronted by Ryder. Picked up by Clancy Pearce. Goes back to Spur. Spur puts it directly out of bounds on the full.
This is the pressure stat tackling. I think last week Melbourne had about 40 tackles in a whole game against Essendon. So far, Fremantle have had 17 in half a quarter.
And nearly 13 minutes, no score from Essendon yet, and not much breeze to speak of. Richo, certainly no advantage, I wouldn't think, one way or the other.
No, absolutely no breeze down here. The rain has stopped now, but the surface is obviously very, very slippery.
Fremantle by 7 points. Ryder against Griffin. The bottom of the pack, Watson. Well done, Mzungu. He got it to Hill. Defensive 50, long kick. Now, Carlisle had bounced off his chest. Pavlich went to ground. Mundy. Carlisle, the good tackle. Hooker. Chance now for Heppel. His handball had a bit too much on it. Hocking, though, tracks it back. He looks up into the middle of the ground, and there's Stanton. Mzungu.
Great switch, that.
Standing in front of him, here's Goddard, ready to go. He's confronted by Barlow. He just stopped him a little, and then the kick towards the 50 through Ryder's hands. Waiting down Kavanagh into the team this week. Second game of AFL football, close to the line and over. Sutcliffe just escorting it across for Essendon's first score of the night.
Now, guys, just an update on McFarlane. He's down in the rooms. He's been there for 7 minutes, we believe, and he's having a concussion test.
Hence, Sutcliffe, the sub, is on the ground. Stanton, hand passes down towards full forward. Hurley, clever. Back to Stanton. That's a good effort. Just misses, hanging it out to the right-hand side.
So they have 20 minutes now to assess whether McFarlane can come back on. The concussion sub is obviously out there.
Obviously, Kepler's harder to concuss. He's taken a good one, too. That sort of night, really. It's going to be closed-in football. Uptight and personal as Clancy Pearce waits to bring it in. Just drops it to the pocket. Duffield.
Ben, hold! This is Essendon's challenge to be just as good at locking the ball in their forward third as our Fremantle up the other end. That's their particular challenge this phase of play.
Fast moving in terms of the clock. First term on the outer side. Zaharakis did nicely. Not so Fletcher. Stolen away by Ballantyne. Raw one from Watson. Sutcliffe goes along the line on the outer side. Mundy the juggled attempt. Stolen away by Hocking. That was clever too. Got the deflection across to Melksham. Boots it up towards the wing. Well played by De Boer. Or was it Sutcliffe? It was Sutcliffe who sends it back inside the 50. Well, almost. Running inside the 50. Walters! And Walters runs it through for a goal. What a transition. And he's deadly. Kepler Bradley coming off the ground. And he'll need a bit of a repair too. But Walters, good kick from the set shot. And prove right there that he can run it as well. There's Kepler. The man he didn't see.
Having a look at how Kepler Bradley got that bloodied face, it was I mean, that's another initiated the contact. I mean, I think both Ryder and Little Common might just have been a bit of trouble with the match review panel.
Good start this now by the Dockers. They're up by 11 points. Barlow sends them forward. A couple of players off though, so might have a way of evening itself up. Little kick out by Hooker. Okay for Stanton. Put one arm down. Crowley right there with him. And the ball over the line, not a bad result.
Just to quickly explain the bump rule, clearly if you decide to bump and make contact with an opponent, like with a deliberate bump, then you can't make contact with the head, basically. Whether it's your own head, well, that's a bit, I guess, we're not sure where one stands.
So it looks like Kepler Bradley heading inside the rooms for some stitches, and Duffield, that's a good mark on half forward. And it's been very difficult for Essendon to get it beyond this line. Inside 50s, they've evened up a little. Essendon 6, Fremantle 12. Sutcliffe. And he got the footy across to Spur, and now Clancy Pearce. He'll drive it inside 50. Barlow was the target. The ball just a little too wide. Yet another throw in.
Their pressure at the moment is really bothering Essendon. They've got no time, no space to pick them off, and conversely, they're getting a lot more space when they have control of the ball.
Not like last week. A few of them thinking that, I'm sure. Out of the pack, Zaharakis quickly onto the boot. Directly to Clancy Pearce. Nobody comes to him, so as a result, he plays on, launches one from 60. It's the post. I think it brushed the post.
Just a moment, they're small forward. We saw last Sunday the small forwards dominated the Collingwood-Carlton game. And just at the moment, maybe the slippery ball. I don't think there's going to be many of the marking forwards going to do a whole lot at this point in time, but the small forwards.
Oh, that's a terrible effort from Dempsey. It drifted inside the field of play, and then outside. The pressure will maintain here. The umpire wants it back, does he? I think he does.
Come outside.
At the moment, Essendon operating at 53%, Fremantle at 60%. I mean, that's got a little bit to do with the conditions, but so much more pressure on Essendon's disposal than Fremantle's.
I think Essendon are actually pressuring fairly well. You know, both sides are at least you know, that is indicative, I think, of two sides that are really putting the pressure on the opposition.
Dockers a couple of goals up. Duffield sends it long to Pavlich. Was going to be difficult to mark in there. Not so difficult for Ballantyne to Rove. That would be a wonderful goal. Fife mark. He went to play on. 50 metres. And, well, he's called for 50. Well, that looked like...
I think you'll find he went to play on. He's probably gotten away with one here, Fife.
No, I think you're absolutely correct, Richo. Fife kicks the goal. You heard Dustin Fletcher saying he played on. 3-2 Freo. Essendon just the two behind's a 3-goal lead now, and I think Dustin Fletcher is absolutely 100% correct. Fife marked. He knew that he hadn't marked inside the goal square, so wanted to eliminate the risk of the angle. Tried to get straight into the square and get that goal done, and luckily for Nat, the umpire said that it was the Essendon player cribbing the mark. 50 metres and a goal.
Well, here we have a look at this. Nathan Fife takes the mark, took a step and went to play on. Probably a little bit lucky there. The other thing is, guys, Luke McFarlane officially subbed out of the game, has obviously failed the concussion test. He is gone for the night.
Ryder missed the footy. The ball goes back after it. Close quarters. Mzungu had no chance. And that ball's not coming out. So ball up.
So Sutcliffe are now into the game.
I think the trick is, too, the umpire's got a call play on to make it official.
Yeah.
They were streets ahead of the ump, as it turned out. Umpire Farmer, one of the better ones, but so you have to be quick. Mundy. Nice kick, comes out to Clancy Pearce, who's giving run off half-back, goes to Fife. Fife is about 75 metres from home, looking for Pavlich. Knocked away from behind by Carlisle. Head down, Goddard did well. Sent it back towards Hooker. Hand passes down the line to Carlisle. Smothered off the boot. Coming again is Myers, gives it across to Howlett. Howlett, the high ball towards the wing. Over the top there was Mundy. Attacking it hard was Hurley, knows no other way. Gave it to Cramry. He was stripped by Johnson, picked up by Kavanagh. Oh, that's a great hand pass. Saw everything up ahead. Howlett takes a long time, goes short to Davey. Davey, the attacking end of the square. Storming back is Hurley. He could well be the target. Hurley, it goes in that direction. Got some separation initially, but the kick came directly at him, so he had nowhere to move. Looks with a bit of a glare back at the man who kicked the footy his way. Will have a boundary throw in.
What Freo have been good at doing early in this game too has been able to open up that attacking win off half back, and they've caught the Bombers napping on 2 occasions.
Kepler Bradley making his way back out. Hill lucky, that was a good tackle from behind. Daniel Pearce, though, with a clearing kick. It's a vacant 50 for Fremantle. Pavlich now with Carlisle. Fletcher came in. A strong hip and shoulder. Well done, Ballantyne. Gathered by Subin. Looks upfield. Main running for him. Main couldn't mark. Now, how will he play this? Steps back and around Carlisle and kicks Fremantle's fourth. It's all Fremantle. Fremantle 4-2. Essendon yet to score. They conceded the first 3 goals against Adelaide in round 1, did Essendon, and managed to come back and win that one by 35 points. Now they've conceded the first 4. Chris Mayne, his stellar year and a bit continues.
That was the final piece of play, but the bounce off half-back, and they just look a bit quicker with the forward line to me, the Dogs. They're okay overhead, the Essendon defence, but as soon as the ball goes to ground, then the ground level agility is too good for them.
So what about these Bombers? 2 behinds in 22 minutes, 28 goals last week. Brings you down quickly, doesn't it, this game? Barlow.
With the spread again here to the wing.
Duffield, he's been handy. Good player, underestimated.
Oh, Nick!
He's right on the wing. Subin with a searching lead up ahead. That's ignored. He pulls it back towards the middle. Well-weighted kick. Sutcliffe to the outer side. Now Johnson can run to the 50. Johnson from 60 metres out goes short. The just pick who he wanted there. There was movement in that forward 50, and Maine's got the footy.
I'm never keen when you go from centre square back out to the wing, but I guess that first possession that maintained possession for Fremantle. Then they were able to go back in through the centre square out to the other side to Johnson. So it was a patient build-up to eventually get the long shot.
25 goals last season, including 4 against the Bombers, round 13. A game that Essendon won by 24 points. Right behind him, going at the 5th here for the Dockers, working it back. It's trying to come back, right on the line, slapped towards the line by Fletcher, and taken out of bounds, as it turned out, by Dempsey.
So Fremantle players there appealing for out of bounds on the full. Thought it came off a Bomber boot. Umpire says throw it in. And Belchambers it is in front with the first hands on the footy. Gets the kick away as well. That's a clever mark by Duffield. So everything going Fremantle's way at the moment.
18-7 the inside 50. So the Bombers just aren't able to get enough supply through the ground to create any scoring opportunities. And Fremantle playing the game in their half and being able to squeeze the Bombers and put pressure on those possessions that are coming out from that part of the ground.
And what they do is they take these marks behind the play, the intercept marks. Duffield 7 disposals now. Their structure behind the ball when Essendon inside 50 is really, really good.
Doesn't kick a lot of goals, Paul Duffield, obviously a defender. 114 games. He's kicked 23 goals in his career from right on the 50 to give Fremantle 5 in a row. And a dream start. The Purple Haze is up and about.
It's going to be a long way back from the Bombers even this early. When Fremantle are dominating the forward 50s, you know they'll be able to score at least, or not allow the opposition to bounce it out for them to score. So Essendon are going to have to really start working at these centre bounces and these midfield clearances to try and give themselves enough chance to kick a bit of a score.
Well, these Dockers have done what Melbourne did last week. They bid at 5 goals. 32 plays 2. Approaching quarter time. And the Dockers have really kick-started their night tonight. Fife over the football, rolls back to Hocking. Well played by Barlow. Slick, too slick there for Mundy. Sutcliffe hit the pack hard. Myers tracks it back. Bit of a fumble. Well done by Walters. Now Hill draws a couple of players to him. Barlow, De Boer. They're looking very slick, although that's a sick kick as it goes inside the 50 on the bounce. Taken by Dempsey. Dempsey sends the Bombers towards their half-forward line. Coming up the ground to meet it was Zach Dawson. Gave it across towards Duffield, who's having a stellar night so far. And Kepler, the fan favourite, back on the ground, stitched up, you'd never know. He drives it down towards the 50. Fife, the big jump. Lurking behind is Dempsey.
So he's got Pearce to beat here. He hasn't beaten him yet, and the umpire has pinged him.
No legal disposal. That's 2 errors now for Courtney Dempsey. The first one was when he came off half back here, and he just had to lower his eyes and hit a safe target. And there's some players that just lost their composure.
Fantastic pressure effort. Remember in the grand final last year, the Swans got over 100 tackles, which was an unbelievable pressure effort. Well, Fremantle already up to 24 before quarter time, so the pressure they're putting on Essendon with the footy is just suffocating.
Saw Comer disappear down the dugout. Kepler Bradley getting his own back. Daniel Pearce already kicked a couple of goals since switching to Fremantle. He starts that one out left, and behind it will be.
What you need, though,
5-3 Essendon, just the 2 behinds, Tim.
You just need some players with some poise in situations like this, Lee. They've just got to retain possession of the ball. They've got to pick Freo off. Here we go again. They're just kicking long down the line.
That was Hibbert.
And almost giving the ball up again. So I don't think the quarter-time break can come quickly enough for the Bombers and James Hird, just so that he can settle this team down.
Dockers by 31 points then. Pretty warm Perth night. Mzungu at the base of the pack. Didn't move it far. Belchambers to Watson. He's constantly been under pressure. Fife, well, he's going nowhere. Heppel, who was so good last week with a career-high 36, hasn't got much of it so far this evening.
They got good protection on the defensive side of this stoppage, Fremantle, so they always got a good setup to make sure the opposition can't get it through and clear.
Barlow sharking the knock. Coming across on the angle, Walters. So lively, a will-o'-the-wisp on the forward line. Goes short, Pavlich missed it. Lurking behind is Barlow. Barlow with a hammerlock there. And the umpire blows the whistle.
That's enough! Ben, thank you! Where's the footy? Let's get the
Well, this is the 27th meeting between these two teams, and in the previous 26, Essendon have never previously been goalless at quarter time, and Ryan Crowley. Tagger on tagger, and Freo's tagger has come off the best.
Well, that's what he does. I mean, he sets himself to get under the skin of players, and Essendon have fallen for that. They've given a free kick away, and
there was Hocking protecting the tagger against his opponent, Stanton, but all you've done is given him a kick.
Good set shot this
Ryan Crowley, reborn under Ross Lane. He won the fairest and best last year. I'm not sure if either of you, Tim or Lee, can remember too many taggers winning the fairest and best.
No, he must be really well regarded, because they get a lot of votes, of course, in club championship votes. Of course, the coaches really appreciate their efforts, but very rarely can they win them.
Timmy's just helping Job out there with that call.
Quiet in Brownlow medal voting, but very good in club voting. Out of bounds on the full.
Heppel close to the boundary line, upended. Duffield walks it across. Interesting, last week Ryan Crowley frustrated the game out of Ryan Griffin. He finished with 17 possessions, Ryan, his lowest total since round 3 last season, and was getting very angry towards the end, which isn't his nature. Down in front of the pack, De Boer. Just the nature of Crowley, though. As the ball goes over the top, Five's got it, boundary throw in.
Not too many teams tend to go with two really close checking run with players, but Fremantle today have gone with that setup.
Actually, that's a little unfair. I don't think Crowley is angry. After games, I've seen him walk up to guys and want to shake hands. Then gets confused they don't shake back. Early towards half forward. Well, Dawson at the second attempt. Cranmery sharked it, though. Gives it across to Zaha Rakis. Will this run on? 15 metres out of pitches. Bad luck for the Bombers. It breaks to the right. Like a putt at Augusta. Minor score. 5-3. Plays 3 behinds.
Ross Lane to take that all day long, though. If that's the only spot Essendon can get on the ground to actually take a shot at goal. Their defence has really held up well, Fremantle.
So less than a minute to play. Got a whistle here as well. It's Fremantle's way. So we may well have Essendon's first goalless first term in 27 meetings against Fremantle. Credit to Ross Lyon and credit to the players executing the game plan. Johnson goes with a long one. There might even be time for one more for Freo, although Dempsey has other ideas. He sends it long back towards Johnson again. Out of bounds on the full, I think.
Again, Basil, he just kicked the ball blind. I mean, the coaches just need to get to him at quarter time and just settle him down and say, listen, you've got a little bit of time when you have the ball in your hands. He's got that referred pressure now.
James Hird with Dyson Heppel down in the dugout, not far away from quarter time, and yet again
that referred pressure, Tim, you talked about. I mean, it hit you quick, doesn't it? Yep. There was no referred pressure last week, but all of a sudden now you get 10 minutes into the game and the Essendon players know that there's probably a Fremantle bloke about to nail them, so they are really rushing themselves.
Howlett out of the congestion, moves it forward. The clock their enemy now. We're down to 15 seconds. Goddard took the mark. Goes back to Melcher. That was very untidy. And the ball runs away and goes out of bounds. So they'll have to hurry, either team really, to get a score from this point on the ground.
1 metre.
James Hird. 5 times best and fairest. Down on the boundary. Brownlow medalist. Mzungu. De Boer. Got a whistle, and it's going Essendon's way.
Probably lucky not to be a 50 there. Mzungu kicked the ball on there.
There's the siren. Now this will be interesting. I reckon the mark will stand. No, umpire heard it. Oh, he's paid it.
Before the siren. Happy with the mark before the siren.
Well, that was interesting. The umpire initially put his hands above his head, which I thought was indicating he'd heard the siren. The quarter was over, but then he checked with the nearest umpire, I guess, to where the sound was coming from, and somebody heard it before Bell Chambers took the mark. Obviously, there's a disagreement over whether the siren sounded in time or not. Meantime, Bell Chambers.
I'm here, Dan. I'm here, Dan.
Goal after the siren now. Hits the behind post, out of bounds on the full. Bad time for the Bombers. Frustration starting to ebb over. Terrific turn by Fremantle. Fremantle letting them know. And in that term at least, it was death by strangulation. 33 plays 3. Quarter time on Friday Night Football. Griffin decisively down to Mundy. Crowley off his step, hooks it down towards half forward. Ballantyne sandwiched between a couple of defenders. A small ally in front sends it forward. That was Walters, who butters up again, paddling it inside the 50. Hooker did well, got a piece of it, and again, and the ball goes out of bounds as we go down to Richard.
Well, before the game, we had the access to the Fremantle midfield meeting during the week. They said they must restrict the ability of Joe Watson to kick the ball. Well, they've certainly done that. Only 4 handballs in the first quarter. 1 contested possession. He's had Crowley and De Boer tag teaming off him. He needs help from his teammates. Heath Hocking did try and chop him out a little bit towards the end of that first quarter.
Good on you, Richo. Hibbert's got the footy in his hands, and Dustin Fletcher, probably the only Bomber who could have honoured that kick. It was dangerously drifting over his head. Comma there, Clancy Pearce as well, and the ball over the line.
But that was smart play then by Hibbert, because he actually came back to the vacant side of the ground. They were going to go down the other side of the ground where all the players were, but they came back and tried to open it up and find some space. It was just a little bit high, the kick then to Comma.
After the boundary throw-in, chance for Goddard, beaten to it by Griffin. Hit it inside the forward 50. Daniel Pearce, bit of a fumble. Tackle. Ball jarred loose. Stanton hit that pack hard. Left it behind, though. De Boer hooks it towards goal. Dangerous spot here, 15 metres out. The left footer gets away. Hibbert across the face of goal to Dempsey. Now a chance for the Bombers on the outer side. Tracking it is Hocking. Coming on the angle. Our ball magnet right there. Duffield closed him down. Melksham paddles it forward but couldn't keep it in. And Hocking slow to recover.
And there was just enough pressure again for him, just enough to affect a really clean kick there. And then they've got the result they want, which is a stoppage out on the wing.
Rucks lock up again. It was a tired throw in by the boundary umpire. Mundy picks it up, tackled immediately, got the arms free. Duffield juggled it, controls it. High ball back to the wing, and it runs away from Stanton.
Duffield tends to be the Fremantle player. They'll try to release from a direct man-to-man defensive assignment whenever they can. They've been playing 7 players off the back of the centre square to set up a spare at the centre bounces. It's working really well for them.
2 minutes into the second term, and Essendon still searching for their first goal of the night. Daniel Pearce inside 50, Pavlich while eating down Walters. Handball was looking for Ballantyne. Fletcher on him. How about that? Loose ball now for Hibbert to control. Main had him. Fletcher, kick ricochets back to Main, on the ground now for Pav. He might go off the ground here. Clever paddle to Ballantyne.
And Pavlich, contact below the knees. Slid into the knee.
Not much more needs to be said.
With that fanatical pressure, I know we've spoken about it many times already, but that was just fanatical pressure by their forward line, wasn't it? The Essendon players had no time. They had no space. There were a couple of times there where they may have been able to escape. There's a free kick from here, but that's that new rule. But I'm not sure that's how it should be applied.
I'm not sure either. I mean, it's a slide in. He sort of fell forward, and you can argue it was a trip, I guess, but I'm not sure whether that was a sliding motion, which is what.
Is that why they introduced the rule? No.
Matthew Pavlich, who became a dad during the NAB Cup. He and wife Lauren with their first baby girl, Harper Rose, and he was looking for his first goal of the night. That's as bad an error kicking for goal from Matthew Pavlich as I think we've seen in 282 games of football.
I've got the yips a bit. He's kicked 2 goals 6 this year. He's actually normally a really beautiful kick at goal, but just so far hasn't got the rhythm.
Out of bounds.
Essendon just toying with the idea of bringing that ball back into the corridor. Here's that kick again. We saw that last kick before quarter time too, that one from Bell Chambers. I just wonder about the grip out there for the players on the ground. I mean, maybe it's a lot wetter than what it looks from up here.
Bell Chambers tries to knock it down in front. Mundy goes after the football. Rolls out slowly. Barlow. Still Barlow. Howlett. High ball to half forward then. Kepler Bradley behind. Didn't stop it. Now Cramry lacking any support at all. Not a Skerrick. They'll have to chase it down there. He misses to the right-hand side.
Hey, Lee, what would you do with Duffield? Melksham is the matchup on him at the moment, but he's getting sucked into the play. Would you just tell him to stay back and just be accountable for Duffield for a little while?
The way it's going, you would have thought the game's just not working for Essendon. So if you've got to go and play 7 forwards, basically, to make sure Fremantle can't start with a fair back, one back, it's probably worth doing.
Well, Ballantyne falling over as he got to the foot. It was close to out of bounds on the full. And the Johnson kicking, he got very close to the line when he kicked in. But, geez, it was a good kick to Walters. So the Rucks at it again on the wing. Bell Chambers in front. Stanton trying to find a handle on the football. Spills out wide Sutcliffe. Ducking his head. Goddard trying to burst his way through. De Boer there with him. They jump on top. It won't come out of there.
just look at this play. Essendon have got one extra player around the stoppage, and Fremantle have got one extra player back in defence. So Essendon have got to start winning a good percentage of these.
Brent Stanton being held by the arm. Brent Stanton by the arm. Essendon.
So a free kick Essendon's way. Stanton being held. You heard it from the umpire. Crowley holding on. So Stanton now with a long kick. What have they got up forward? Drifting at the back, Hurley was trying to read it off hands. It didn't quite get there, and on the 50, Watson tracks it over for a throw-in again.
He's been a flexible player, hasn't he, Kepler Bradley? He's played forward in second ruck more often than not, but tonight he's largely playing maybe on Ryder, one-on-one, or certainly playing the big defensive role.
Another boundary throw-in. Watson stumbles. Griffin. Watson did well on the ground, got a hand to it. Dempsey was in there. Barlow. Mzungu. High and close to the boundary line. Stanton's in front. Crowley gets into his back. It's a slogging affair.
It is, but once again, at that stoppage, they just work so well, Fremantle, off the backside of the stoppage. That's where they had the numbers, again, to repel that attack.
Down goes Ballantyne. It's his natural habitat. He bounces to his feet, slapping it towards the boundary as Griffin. All I would say is Ross Lyon's lucky footy isn't judged on artistic merit.
Yes, he does smother the opposition. He just, it's not a scattergun approach. He just absolutely smothers them in their offence.
We both watched them last week, Lee, against the Dogs. Similar affair, wasn't it? Gee, hard work. Mundy gets a kick towards the boundary line. It runs across. We'll have a
Except in that game, the Bulldogs were really good in the clearance area, but they still weren't able to generate a score. Tonight, when the Dockers are doing well in that area, it's just about impossible for Essendon.
That look said it all, didn't it?
I reckon Ballantyne's got to just hold his feet there. I don't like that when players drop to the ground like that. There was hardly any contact there. He's trying to milk a free kick. I don't reckon it's a great look.
Young Ballantyne, Richo, yeah. He loves the limelight. He missed a game, of course, last week. He was suspended in round 1. Back in the team this week. And with strict instructions to be on his best behaviour. Howlett gets a kick forward. Won't quite get inside 50. Big fly from Hurley. Hard to mark in these conditions. Overrunning at Goddard. Now the numbers with Fremantle. Well done, Main. He got the ball across to Fife, but Fife's kick out of bounds on the full. So Fremantle led it by 30 points at the first break. And they're up by 29 points here. Essendon just the 4 behinds. We played a quarter and almost 8 minutes. Friday night footy from Patterson's.
Michael Hibbert beyond the wing. Paddy Ryder launches himself. Takes the mark. They need a goal. Sounds strange, but well, it doesn't sound strange. They're 5 down, but this game could be gone very shortly if they don't start doing better on the forward line. Heppel through the legs of Watson, picked up by Davey. Goddard stretches and takes the mark. Well, Hurley, rather, has taken the mark about 35 metres out on a slight angle.
Just reacted quicker. Bradley was basically playing as an extra man back against Johnson, who's the direct opponent of Hurley. But Hurley, we might see it in the screen, he just read it quicker. He just reacted quicker to the quick kick, as forward should. They should always react quicker to defenders than defenders. Those quick kicks.
But at 6 goals when last these teams met. Comes in with purpose and does a pass. But fortunately for him, the mark is taken by Cramry about 10 metres out.
That's classified as an effective kick, but I don't know whether...
Hey, Richo, I might go down to Richo here. Richo, is there something about the turf out there that we just aren't aware of from up here?
Well, it is very slippery. I don't know if that's an excuse for those last 2 shots at goal, but no doubt, a lot of surface water tonight.
Now a huge kick. Cramry puts it through. 6 last week. And Essendon get their first of the night. Stuart Cramry was in some doubt during the week, early anyway. Back in the side tonight. Well, still in the side tonight. Cleared fit. And they need more of that. They don't have really a standout goal kicker. Not a real go-to man like Pavlich, but somebody down there needs 3 or 4 tonight if they're to have any chance in this game.
It's a bit of luck, a bit of just as good as a bit of good management. Cramry's minding his own business, waiting for the ball to go over his head. But you kick your first goal in a low-scoring game. It's now only 23 points in the game.
Well, that's it, Lee. They've got their first, and now they're looking for a little bit of momentum. Fife, though, sends it the other way. That's a very good mark, and probably should be 50.
No doubt.
That was a gutsy grab by Carlisle. Pavlich knocked the ball out of his hands. Not sure why it wasn't 50. Ryder with a big fly. Well, they're looking better here, Essendon. Kick in the middle. Goddard uses the ball so well every time. Here's Hibbert. Out on the wing. Looks up, clears the first contest, and then off Cramery's boot, out of bounds, but not on the full. It'll be thrown in. It got off Griffin's head, and now the umpire comes in, Dean Margetts, to discuss.
It looked like it came off his shin to me, but out in the full. What did you think? I saw it came off his body. Well, are you 100% sure? I just thought I thought it came off the shin. That's what I've seen. But you did have doubt. It came off their shin. Look, I'm going to refer, that's all. We're going to throw it in. It's doubt. There's doubt. We're going to throw it in, okay? This way, Cal. This way. This way.
So after all of that, the original call stands. What did you think, Tim?
Okay, throw it in, thanks.
Like it came off his shin, to be honest, when you look at it on replay.
So thrown in it is. Ryder gets the ball down. Zaharakis, Howlett taken high. No free. Myers in there working his way against a couple of Dockers. Zaharakis left it behind and taken high there. Chris Mayne. And not what Essendon wanted there. The pressure was building from the Bombers. They've looked better the last couple of minutes, but a free kick to Mayne, a careless one, and now Freo a chance to get into their half of the ground yet again.
23 points the difference. Quite manageable. Here's De Boer. Got to take your chances. Duffield thought about coming to Kepler. Decides against it and goes back the other way. This is Johnson, an unrestricted free agent at the end of the season. Just the defensive side of the wing now.
Against you, blocking the run.
It was a free kick to West.
Heard the voice of umpire Mollison there. He was only about 10 metres away from the infringement and called it. So Essendon catch a break as the ball goes inside the forward 50. Mayne, Pearce. Across the face of goal now. Spur sends it out wide. Kepler Bradley sticks out the big mitt. It's well done. Drafted, of course, by the Bombers from West Perth. I think number 6 from memory. Didn't fulfill that promise, but has been a serviceable journeyman at both clubs. And Ryder's got the football at the interchange gates.
So Paddy Ryder, who's had a good couple of minutes, he sends it long down in the Bell Chambers direction. So good last week, Bell Chambers. 4 goals, 21 hit-outs. That was his best in terms of goals. He's been terrific this year, but that was going to be difficult to mark. So it's thrown in. He'll get a chance to do some work here again, although caught out of that contest. Kepler, it ends up with Jobe Watson. Hocking's kick, quick one out of the pack by Spur. It rolls and rolls close to the line, doesn't get there. Now there a chance to set it up again. Hooker. It was Sutcliffe, in fact, with a kick out. And now Myers got a hand in there, important. Keeps it alive, back long, and Dawson marks. He handballs to Hill, and Fremantle looking to release again.
Hill careful not to go on that right side. It's virtually non-existent. Came back on the left, and now 50. Barlow had the footy.
You see what happened there. The kick went straight to Dawson. They got that one loose play. I reckon it's better off if Essendon get a one-on-one situation in there because they're not getting an advantage of the stoppages.
Oh, that's a good mark by Mzungu. Terrible kick. Set him up for Hibbert, but Mzungu hung on. Kicks inside the forward 50 at the back of the pack. A half chance for Crowley. Lays it off. Pearce with his left boot. Bounces one down towards the square. Dempsey, that was casual. Melksham under the pump. Melksham foxes his own footy. Could have been caught holding the ball then, really. He took the footy. Kepler took him down. Ballantyne lines up and puts it through for a behind.
Gee, the two little lively forwards, Ballantyne and Walters, have been really influential tonight. That's what Essendon haven't seen have got in their forward line. Alwyn Davies is the one they're hoping can provide that role, but the ball, when it goes to ground in that Essendon forward half, it's just bouncing back straight away.
So Melksham's got the footy in the back pocket, asked to go by the umpire, and he hugs the line right. A difficult one, 2-on-1 situation once the ball hit the deck. So Luke McFarlane subbed out early. Here he is in the rooms, well, chewing on a banana. He looks all right, Tim.
Banana will fix anything, Basil.
Well, that's testing the jaw as well, of course.
Yeah, didn't think of that. Thrown in. Here's Hill. He's been busy. Gathered now by Sutcliffe, sends it towards Mzungu. Bradley there as well. Bradley up in front, fisted away from behind by Hooker. Waiting down Sutcliffe, he rove that well, he kicks wide. Walters and Hibberd. Hibberd had the pace, but the ball over the line. 5-4, 1-4. 4 goals, 15 minutes played in this second term. James Hird watching on.
Look at that. Essendon just had the ball in their forward half this quarter.
Been able to lock it in.
It's still hard to score even when you get it there, though, against Fremantle.
Well done by Hill. Deft touch into the path of Mundy in the opposite direction. Main. Kepler Bradley just inside the 50 under pressure. It bounces out of bounds.
It's one of those games where you've got to be careful not to panic because we're not scoring much. I mean, they've kicked 1 goal, Essendon, halfway through the second quarter, but they're still only 24 points behind. So they've just got to make sure that they can lock Fremantle down as well.
Stanton smothered off the boot. Well done by Fife. Under pressure. Got no purchase on the kick. Well, Walters, he steeled himself for contact there, and it came from Dempsey. Now we're going to have a whistle. The umpire circling the pack, holding the ball, I'd suggest. When they circle, you know it's bad.
Might have a quick look at that if we get a chance.
No genuine attempt.
The genuine attempt. So I look at that and I think there's 4 players lying on him. How can he make a genuine attempt?
They've lost the advantage here, though, the Bombers, with the confusion.
Yeah,
the numbers broke. They had spare players. Now Fremantle have had plenty of time to lock down on them again and organise themselves defensively.
Yeah, it's exactly what they've done, Tim. So Hibberd's kick for that reason towards the boundary line, and Carlisle, and yet again off hands, as has happened numerous times tonight. So let's have another look at it here. Walters, is there an opportunity in there anywhere?
There's no opportunity. There's no opportunity to get that for him, no matter what he did.
Not what the umpires thought. So it was a free. Now, handball on the ground. Well done. They worked it out to Ryder eventually. Dempsey on the ground, and then a soccer forward towards the line.
That's a good result in the end, because Fremantle were pushing their players. They looked like they were going to have some momentum with the ball, and just to get this stoppage again. I mean, it's ugly football, but it's engrossing at the moment.
Griffin goes up and taps it down. With no real purpose. Hills over the football to Pavlich. Pavlich, a high ball towards half forward. Fletcher. Valentine went to ground. Fletcher able to punch away. Pearce. Well, the 2 Pearces. Clancy got it from Daniel. Goes across now to Ballantyne. Ballantyne had run on, found space. It comes back to Walters. Now, interesting, and I hate to do this, Lou. Go against you, you know that, but I was watching the replay. I rarely do this. But I think the tattooed arm did Walters in there. Watch this. He gets his right arm free. And it just hangs out of the pack.
Houdini could not have got that.
Oh, he's got to try, Lee. Now, come on, don't take this moment from me.
Again, the 2 little blokes, Ballantyne and Walters together. They're just the combined speed of that pair.
There goes the kick then from Walters, and he just misses. So behind, and that's only their second of the term. They still lead by 25. I was just hoping, Leaf, you're a genius, Dennis, but it didn't come.
Carlisle's got the foot in the back pocket. So as Dan said, just the 2 behinds in this term for Fremantle. So Essendon well and truly in the game in this term, but there's still a fair way behind on the scoreboard. 25 points. Here's Pearce off to Subin, who sends it long inside 50. Well done, Hibberd. He got there to the football first. It was important. There was a couple of dangerous little men waiting down. Speaking of which, Pavlich, he got it from Barlow. Fife, he spilt it before he kicked. He gets a second opportunity, and now Freo have got their first goal of the second quarter. Well, not often you get a second chance at the big league, and that was an interesting part of the ground for Nat Fife to fumble, but he was able to regather, and that's his second goal. That just takes a little bit of the sting out of Essendon's fight back. Freo with their 6th and their first of the second term after 19 minutes.
Not able to take it first field, had enough time to screw it. Just this last phase of play, Justin Fletcher is actually on Hayden Ballantyne. He often plays on the little blokes, but Ballantyne is running around a bit just currently.
Bellchambers won it down. Stanton's kick half blanketed. De Boer goes to the outer side wing. Mzungu missed the mark on his chest to Fife. I think it's official. Good players are butchering this ball, both by hand and foot. So it must be very slippery out there. Ballantyne, to his own advantage, runs on, lays it off. Main lines up from 35. Back-to-back goals from Fremantle. Just talking about their drought, suddenly it's lifted. Ballantyne reacting quickly. He was the quickest of them. Across half forward. Setting it up. Main is a tireless worker on the forward line. So often sacrifices his game. Good to see him get a bit of glory right there. Got the ball, open goal, and suddenly Essendon's good work of a few minutes ago has come unglued because they trail by more.
Here they go again. Just watch this. This is the ball. The kick out to the wing, the one-on-one. Fumbles the ball. First player to arrive, another Fremantle player. Another Fremantle player off the back. I mean, that's what they've been so good at. Getting the numbers to the contest where it matters.
Bell-Chambers, Stanton, Davey running through. Heppel close to throwing the ball. Their illegal disposal. Davey went again. Goddard now on the ground. Wrapped up by Barlow, and the ball will be bounced there. Pressure on the football, fierce. I think they call that outnumbering, don't they, Tim? That's what they try and do, get the first outnumbered situation around the football, and they've done that so well tonight.
Well, if 3 Essendon players get there, 4 Fremantle players will get there, and they don't leave the scene of the crime until they secure the ball.
It's a key message from Ross Lyon. Be the first team to outnumber the opposition at the stoppage. Now here's Griffin. This would be an unlikely goal kicker from this distance. He's out of bounds on the full.
Well, Baz, you just said at the stoppages, getting absolutely smashed this quarter. 15-4 and 6-1 out of the middle. If there's one team you have to win first use against, it's Fremantle, because if they get it in there first to their forward line, you will not get it out.
Hibbert outside the defensive 50. Griffin reaches over the top, knocks it down. Fife getting busy in the last 5 minutes. Watson in the opposite direction did brilliantly. Heppel had to wait. Slight fumble, put him in trouble. Coming again was Hill. Standing in the road, Goddard back towards the wing. Subban finds the ball on the deck under pressure. Goes inside the forward 50. Pav, oh, what a wonderful spoil. Getting the fist around Pav, in under his armpit, and getting the ball out of bounds was Carlisle.
He's becoming a great defender, isn't he, Carlisle?
What was it, 13 marks last week?
Got really good pace, really good closing speed for a big, tall defender. Is exactly what you need.
And that was better than a mark. Stanton slaps it down, taken by Howlett.
The kicks towards the middle of the ground. Johnson wrestling with Cramery. Cramery did well, went again and then kept his footing. That was very well done. Howlett just left the football behind. Allowed Duffield in, but Myers swoops on the football. Handball to Davey. Kicks inside a vacant 50-metre arc. Johnson tracking it back. Well done. Never easy to mark those ones. Having to keep your eye on the footy and running at top pace. He did it well, and the kick out to Mzungu equal to that marking effort. And a short one again for Barlow on defensive 50.
Looks back across the face of goal. Mzungu. Just over 5 minutes remaining in the half.
He's an impressive player, Mzungu. He's 27-year-old and playing his 41st game, but he's sort of one of that midfield 6 or 8. Fife's another one. Fife looked a really good player from the first game he played, but Mzungu is another of those middle-aged mature recruits.
Crowley missed the footy. Goddard working back, confronted there by Ballantyne. Well played, Stanton. Got it down to Hibbert, who runs on, gets it back from Zaharakis from the wing. Probing kick. Wright has been marking well, not that time though. Heppel tumbling forward, goes looking for Bell-Chambers. Cramery surrounded. Feeds a high one back to Howlett, met in mid-air. Subban with a crumb then, in trouble. That was incorrect disposal. Well done. David Myers got him. And will kick it goal. He's got a good peg. He could get it from here. Although, having said that, kicking hasn't been a high point tonight. Kicking graph is down. Not an easy tackle either, given that these are sweaty bodies. Make no mistake about that, approaching half-time in these sweltering, well, not sweltering conditions, but tropical conditions. There's Myers. Distance wasn't a problem, but he's missed by quite a margin. They creep closer. The margin's 6 straight goals now.
It's amazing when it's humidity-type conditions like this tonight and players really sweat profusely. It tends to get on the yellow balls and makes them really slippery. It kind of is one of those particular game conditions that makes ball handling really difficult.
Pearce's kick for Barlow was right on the line. He marks on the line and back to Pearce inside defensive 50. Now the switch is on. Johnson. So much of their attack comes through Michael Johnson, often on the opposite side of the ground. And Mzungu again, they've combined well. Very quickly the ball on the wing and space now for Sutcliffe to run into to mark. So they moved it very quickly. Complete contrast to what Essendon have been able to do, or not really able to do. Subin's kick, not a good one. Howlett off to Bohr. Still a chance here for Mundy with Watson. He went to ground. Melksham. Handball for Myers or Heppel. It ends up with Myers. Tunnel ball through Heppel's legs, and now a long one. Johnson again. He didn't mark this time. Cramery's tackle. Good recovery. Spur went to ground, taken high.
See, what you don't want to be doing is kicking the ball like Myers did then off half-back. That's when you really need that composure from the players. That kick has to hit its mark, otherwise it's coming straight back at you like it is now.
David Mundy on the outer side. Cramery is still down. A trainer is with him. Slowly getting to one knee. Main launches himself, couldn't complete the mark. Ballantyne, a lot of the football for a small forward goes to Pavlich, who hasn't seen much of it, very little. And the ball goes out, so a throw in.
Yeah, mention again, Dustin Fletcher can play on most players, but I don't think he's a good matchup for Ballantyne at this point of their respective careers.
Griffin in front. Well, uncontested as it turned out. Barlow stood up in the tackle. Goddard. De Boer in there, going nowhere.
You're in the ruck, Judd. Hey.
Bang.
Zach Dawson going in backside first. Went past the ball, but I don't think he's in any danger.
6-goal lead then for Fremantle. Essendon just trying to get something going. They've been doing that for most of this term, and it's been so tough. They're a tough nut to crack, this Fremantle unit. And again, you can see the frustration on Stanton's face. He wants an option. There's not many coming. He goes long. Kavanagh, Sutcliffe waiting down for Fremantle. Well done by Hocking. He rove that well and then kicked towards Davey. Had it knocked away. Dawson on the ground, needed to be careful there. Here's Clancy Pearce out the back to Mundy. So good in this situation. Fremantle off half back, they attack, and here's Pavlich, who wants to get things moving quickly. He's got a loose player, Barlow. He can gather and go. He didn't gather, now he does. Inside the square, low and flat, and Ballantyne on the lead marks.
I've been sitting here watching this for 10 minutes, and I'm wondering why that matchup hasn't changed. Ballantyne's killing Dustin at the moment in terms of just his movement, as you'd expect, I guess, from. Just keeps getting off the taller defender.
Why would they be persisting, you reckon, Tim, like that?
They may not have another matchup at the moment.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Hayden Ballantyne last week out suspended. Well, that, I think, is the new leader in terrible shots at goal tonight. And that's saying something, because we've had some shockers.
And the nominees are.
I just wonder whether or not he's been caught in the shuffle all the time.
Well, I don't think they've got a third taller forward, Fremantle. So basically they're all smalls apart from Bradley and Pavlich at the moment.
That was something special, wasn't it? Fife just ghosting across in front of his rival to take the mark. The kick from right on the boundary line. The man on the mark is possibly a metre in from the 50. Now, if he kicks this, it will certainly be against the trend tonight. Doesn't try, just puts it to the kickoff line. Lurking behind was Walters. It was headed his way, but chopped off by Hocking. Hocking the high ball towards the outer side. Hurley simply helps the ball on its way. Gained about 15. Dawson had the ball surrounded. He came at it from about 3 different angles. Eventually the siren sounds, and Fremantle would be very happy with their work to half-time. They lead 7-5 to 1-5, but Ballantyne would not be happy with that. In fact, to get it to go behind point, almost behind point, that one on the offside, is pretty hard to do. But he's been a busy forward, 11 possessions, 1-1, and that guy, as if he didn't have enough to think about, has more to think about now because his team in terrible trouble. It's Fremantle, a familiar Fremantle. They just get hold of a team and squeeze the life out of them. But Fremantle have got them tonight at this stage. 47 plays 11. Can Bomber and James Hird conjure something at half-time? The margin. Fremantle led by 30 at quarter time. So away we go in the second half. Belchambers wins it down. Watson got a boot to it. Falling to the ground, Goddard. In the opposite direction there is Heppel. Haven't they nullified him? And the ball up alongside the centre circles. Just talking stats, Richo is getting old. About 7 weeks older, we're told, than Dustin Fletcher. Guess who told us? Josh in splendid early season form. Watson crawling after that one initially. Goddard dragging a couple with him, and we'll have another ball up.
I haven't listened to Lee. Dustin Fletcher's still on Ballantyne.
Zaharakis pulled the kick. Goddard missed the kick. Going from bad to worse. But he stands up and is taken front on by Mundy. Wow.
That matchup's happening partly because there is just no one tall down there for Fletcher to play on, so it's not a deliberate matchup.
They cleared the congestion there. His height played a part with Fletcher's. Ballantyne, the crowd thought, could have got a free kick, but Fletcher played it well. It's on the wing now as a result. Goddard over the shoulder, nicely done by Comer. Melksham gave it to Hocking. The pressure still coming. Goddard, that's a tired kick down towards half foot. It was touched. Not sure Ryder got the call early enough. Melksham sold into trouble by Davey. Well done by Bradley. Hitting the ball hard is Spur, but he can't get a handle on it. Eventually across to Mundy. Mundy sold Mzungu into pressure. Knocked forward by Davey. Well done by Pearce, clearing a path there for Fife, and eventually, it's going to be a free kick, and I think it's going to Pearce. He was taken home. I think Fife was too.
I think you're spot on there, Dan. Pearce the first one, though, and his kick towards midfield. Crowley's in here. He might soccer off the ground. He did well. He got an arm in there to paddle it towards Ballantyne. First to the football.
Advantage Essendon.
Well, that was interesting because they both seem to be sliding to the knees, but it was Stanton who won the free kick, and Hibbert on the end of it now. He got it from Watson, and Hibbert out wide for Crammer. He's gone very wide. It will stay inside the field of play. They can set it up. Hurley on the lead. This is a better start from the Bombers.
Play on, play on.
Call to go. He does go from outside 50, sends it long and not strong enough, just to behind.
That was unusual. He's a right foot kick then, Hill, and he elected to go on his left. That was one of the few times Essendon has actually been able to break from half back, open up the wing, and then find themselves some space in their forward line.
Margin was 36 points at half-time. Then there is some form for James Hird. They won in round 17, 2011 against Adelaide at Amy from 6 goals down at half-time. Could they possibly do it again here tonight?
You know what they say, Baz? Retrospective form is good for. Ball up just outside the 50. Belchambers props in front, flicks it down brilliantly to Watson. Watson tackled as he kicks. Finds the boundary on the bounce, so a good result there for Essendon, who can move forward and regroup.
That was really because Howard actually went to De Boer, who's picking up Watson at the stoppage, and just blocked for him. He got a little bit of space for one of the few times tonight.
Belchambers did well again. Watson could have almost been taken high. He's going to get the free kick.
Over the shoulder. No, it was high. I had a good view. High tackle.
That's the value of attacking the ball, really. If you attack the ball really hard with a whole lot of speed and momentum, then it puts the pressure on the tackling player to not just be a little bit sloppy with the high arm over the shoulder.
Interesting in the boundary throw in. Griffin initially was searching for the body. Belchambers sort of pulled away the chair. Griffin stumbled backwards, and Belchambers found himself in front spot and set up this opportunity for his captain. The Brownlow medalist kicks from right on the 50, and even he can't get a goal. It did its best work right at the finish. Could have embarrassed a commentator or two. It was working back left to right.
3 disposals in this third term for Jobe Watson, so the skipper trying to lift his team. Here's Johnson, back pocket for Fremantle, a low one. Tough to gather. Well done, De Boer. Handball to Mzungu, who was in trouble. Melksham was right there with him. He got something on the footy, and over the line it spilt. Ross Lyon, as we said at the outset, just 1 win in his last 6 games coaching against Essendon with both Fremantle and St Kilda, but things looking much more promising tonight. Mundy's kick towards Subin. Well done, Fletcher. That was brilliant. And then he followed it up with a big fist off the ground. Davey a push in the back. Well done, Dustin Fletcher. That's his ball. Just outstanding stuff. Now into the middle of the ground, Zaharakis, a long kick forward from Myers. Kepler Bradley in front at the back, it spills. Unlucky Hurley. A big fly from Ryder, he got it down to Hurley and he's disappointed with himself.
Wow. Well, you would have thought that was a free kick as it turned out. It's actually why the rule came in. Johnson. Not a good kick coming out. Fife was in front. Hocking a half chance. Myers pulls it back towards the kickoff line. Plenty of Dockers in position, and a free kick will go to Dawson. But Essendon certainly have upped the ante here. Playing with a lot more intent.
Got to take the chances when you don't get many of them. I mean, 1 goal 8 from 9 scoring shots. They're just not able to put the pressure on Fremantle on the scoreboard at all.
So Dawson out of defence then. Well short of the wing. Pavlich comes up. Can't do much with it. Ball goes out of bounds.
There's the Pav quiet tonight. It's been a quiet start to the season for the skipper. He had surgery, Achilles and back during the summer. And the great thing for Fremantle is heading for 3 wins in a row. It looks like they've done it largely without Matthew Pavlich. Zaharakis inside. Our ball magnet from earlier. Duffield gathers. He kicks out wide. Ballantyne, it almost bounced over his head. Still Fletcher running with him. He looks upfield and Main in front of Carlisle. Now Main turns inside. Is Pearce. Daniel Pearce trying to get around Carlisle also. Did pretty well there, Carlisle, but in the end, he slipped away, Pearce. He kicks down towards full forward. Marking attempt by Hooker, gathered by Subin. Handball for Walters. Subin went again. Bottom of that pack, he's the last man up. Hocking was right there with him. The ball will be bounced.
They're testing Dustin Fletcher, aren't they? They just opened up that far side of the ground. It was just him and Ballantyne. He had to go all the way.
Mundy lays it off. Daniel Pearce out against the boundary line, pulls it back very close to the goal line. Hibbert trying to force it across. That wasn't what they were after. Ball stays one in that forward line off Carlisle, so a boundary throw in.
And the other thing, Timmy, they're actually rotating on him. Subin was on him. Ballantyne came off for a quick 2-minute rest. Back on. Dustin hasn't had a rest at all.
Griffin doing so well in place of the injured Sandilands. Kicked out of there by Goddard. Coming to it is Spur, trying to keep it in. Rolls off the body of Comer and goes out of bounds. So a throw in, 47 plays 14.
Got Travis Collier as their sub, and I wonder whether either Collier for Comer, Melsham or Davey, they need to get a bit more speed in their forward line somehow.
There's Howlett among 11 West Aussies on Essendon's list. There's 6 of them out there tonight. He's one of them, of course. Kavanagh wrapped up by Kepler Bradley. Ball spilt loose, and now Duffield taken high. Bottom of that pack. Umpire was blindsided. Couldn't see it. Allows play to go. He's being really generous here. Took a long time.
He was on the wrong side, wasn't he? I mean, the shot clearly on this side was that the Freo player was taken above the shoulders. You see the sub there, Travis Collier there with the vest on.
Another of those West Aussies back in Perth tonight. Here's Hill to space. Ballantyne, well, that had to favour Dustin Fletcher that time. Ballantyne, pretty good effort to mark, actually. Got his arms up. Fletcher, as he's done so many times, he got a little bit on it. Made his debut on April 3, 1993, Dustin Fletcher. 6 weeks before his teammate tonight, Elliot Kavanagh, was born.
Here's Hocking wearing the blue shorts. Fashion statement. Kicks it up towards the wing. Back goes Kepler. Lays it off. Left behind, though, by Spur and Pearce in turn. Now a chance for Kavanagh. Hand passes towards the 50. Comer under pressure. Lays the ball intelligently for Cramry. Gathers on the bounce and goes in. Can this kickstart the Bombers? Well, the fast attack. They got behind the defence that time. It's happened a couple of times tonight. Cramry's got both their goals. That was set up for him, just running onto the loose ball and converting. So the beauty of playing Fremantle, I guess, is you're never that far away. They can dominate and dominate, and you find yourself down by 27.
A few times the ball went into their Essendon's forward 50 on the ground, where the structure of the Fremantle defence couldn't quite cope with the bit of speed that Kavanagh and Cranberry got on the end of.
Cranberry with both of Essendon's goals tonight. And here's a clearance. Watson gets the kick forward. Is this the start of something? Kavanagh overran at that time. Howlett arrived quickly. Socketed inside 50. Rolling ball. Hurley caught behind. Dawson played it pretty well. Howlett now over the line.
What Essendon did at that stoppage for the first time tonight is actually manned up all the Docker players. They started with 7 in their forward line then, so we've seen a change of strategy in the early part of this third term.
Jonathan Griffin doing a good job. Aaron Sandler, not the best of watchers. He's got another 6 weeks or so to keep watching.
He did the end chair too, I would think, Baz. He was relishing that.
Terrific mark by Dempsey. So they're building here, Essendon. 27 points is the Fremantle lead. It was 36 points at half-time. Big kick inside 50. Davey, they need a crummer to get busy now. Ball on the deck. Well done by the big man, Bell Chambers. He got it out. Ball is booted forward. And Kavanagh has kicked the goal. Well, out of nowhere. We said that they needed a crummer to get busy, and the young man playing just his second game has kicked the goal out of the pack. 2 in a row now for the Bombers, and the lead for Fremantle cut to 21 points.
They need to do something in their forward line at ground level, and it's sort of Kavanagh set up the Cranberry goal, so good couple of efforts by that young man.
Well done by the big man. Bell Chambers just kept fighting, and Kavanagh got involved in the last 2 goals. The second game player, his first goal in AFL footy. It's a pretty simple game football. Essendon are winning the clearances and contested possession this quarter. Nearly another one there. It's got them back in the game.
Walters charges in off the line. Griffin kicks it out wide. Getting back is Hibbert. Pavlich came to him. Arriving quickly was Main. Hibbert has to go back and try and redeem this situation. He walks across the line. This will be interesting. Whoop. Fair enough. Boundary throw in. He was under duress, no question about that. Made the initial mistake and did what he could do to undo it. Knocked down by Griffin. Zaharakis over the football. Well played by Pearce. Didn't jump into his back. De Boer, head down, tries to burrow through. Watson trying to lift his team, feeds it out. Well played. Ryder towards the wing, playing in front. Trampoline chest. It bounced off Hurley. Wonderful stuff by Connor. Dives in after the footy, but couldn't control it. Spur. Suddenly, a game has broken out here. The high ball from Stanton, knocked away from Cranberry, pushing it towards the boundary line is Duffield. It goes out of bounds, so we'll have a throw-in.
Similar sentiments, I think you said before, Dennis. There was often said about St Kilda when Ross Lyon was coach, but they never got that far in front, so there was always a chance the opposition might find a gear.
36 points at half-time. It's now 21 points. They'd love the next goal, Essendon, for 3 in a row.
Essendon brought all their forwards up to the centre wing position here too, so if they do break, it'll be another situation like we saw earlier when Cranberry kicked that goal, and there's plenty of space to operate in. Johnson's dropping back now as that free player for Freo.
Plenty of time, obviously. Just under 12 minutes remaining in this third quarter. So what's been the big difference here, Lee?
Well, actually, Essendon are just starting to win the clearances, but they've just introduced Collier into the game. I'm sure he's just been subbed in to try and get a little bit more speed around the edges there.
So Collier is on the ground, and there he is straight away. He was in there trying to gather the footy. They're not going to get it out of there, you wouldn't think. And, well, that's a tough call on Stephen Hill. I'm not sure how he could have got rid of that one. We had one earlier, Lee. That looked very similar.
I don't know whether he dived on it. If you dive on it, you give away your right, I suppose. But
Stanton then with a long kick towards half forward. Hurley, important ball in there. Kavanagh, now the West Aussie Howlett. He needs to control the footy. He's done that. He gets it onto the boot and he bounces it through. The Bombers have got 3 in a row. Here they come. They willed it forward. They kept it moving, and they've done so very well. And their stoppages, their stoppage work after half-time has been terrific. They were being murdered early, but they are really rolling. 3 goals in a row. The margin back to 15 points. And we've got a ball game.
great finish by Howler, but good forward footy by Essendon. And all of a sudden they've started to get a bit of life in their forward when the ball's gone to ground. They've just ran onto it instead of the Fremantle defence.
So Ben, the beneficiary of the bounces. It's bounced again by the umpire this time. Hocking goes after it, kicking in danger.
Stephen Hill, free kick. Stephen Hill, Brendan. Stephen Hill.
So Hill still inside the centre square, the wrong end of it. In this term, 3-3 to nothing, the Bombers. They've really come to terms with this game. Clancy Pearce, no easy marks tonight. That was a hard one. Comma swoops on the loose ball, chips it down just beyond the wing. Stretching was Hocking. Suddenly the runners with the Bombers, although they're held up there and they've turned it over. Between Melksham and Hocking, Fife is the victor. Kicks just beyond the wing, Fremantle's way. In front is Pearce, and the ball goes across the line. So Dustin Fletcher subbed out. Had his problems, and we've documented those over the night with Hayden Ballantyne.
Griffin again, well done. He got it down to Mzungu and Fife. Bell Chambers with him. They've been wrestling for most of the night, those two. Well done. Heppel, he fisted forward, and here's the sub. Collier takes it. He kicks inside a vacant 50. Bouncing ball. Spurs going to be the first to arrive, or is he? It was Dawson. He knocked it out Davies' way. Davey ducked his head. No free kick. Here's Hurley. He turns. He shoots. The Bombers have 4 in a row. Wow.
It was interesting we thought they might introduce Collier a little bit earlier than the sub, might just give him some extra speed, but they've really actually gone ground level. They've taken out for their third big defender. They've gone with Carlisle and Hooker and actually just got one extra small runner in Collier on the field, and all of a sudden it's amazing how much quicker Essendon look in this first half of the third quarter.
What a gutsy comeback by the Bombers. And they've kicked a couple of very good goals. That was no easy thing under pressure with a greasy ball across the body. Griffin taps it down. Suddenly the team in purple could do with a goal. This kick runs towards the 50. Socket off the ground by Ballantyne. It's going to be a free kick. It's going the Dockers' way. And Walters, who is a long kick, this is too far out, but he'll put it to an interesting situation. Wants to go, can't do that. Now he can, apparently. Comes to Mundy. He dropped the football. Hibbert comes through, slips a hand past to Zaharakis. Missed Hocking. Subin arrived quickly. Ball jarred out of there. Mundy in the grasp. Well done by Collier. Comes back towards Mundy. Clattering into him as Myers. And the ball goes out of bounds. It's really lifted appreciably now. Suddenly the Bombers can see the victory line. It's visible at least. 47-38.
1 goal in the first half. 4 goals in this term, Essendon. The last 4 of the game. And Collier's kick, a high one. It was touched. It won't be out of bounds on the full. A throw-in, not a bad result.
And for the first time in this game, Essendon have actually been able to get it inside their attacking 50. And when they've gone there, they've gone, and there's been plenty of space. It's 9-2 in the early part of this third term. So that gives them some chance to score.
Griffin's rucked tirelessly for Fremantle. Again, he wrestles with Bell Chambers. He worked his way in front. Barlow lost the footy. Stanton stands up, tried to get rid of it. Difficult to move it out of there. The big man takes it. He tries to get it going. Collier looking for some space. Dangerous handball to his opposite, number 32 in Hill. But waiting back, that's a good mark taken by Hooker. Dishes quickly by hand. Back to Carlisle, back to Hooker. Important bounce here. Johnson gets it. He attacks the footy, kicks it too high. Hooker got a big hand in there.
Dempsey got the crumb. That's for the pocket and Hibbert. Well, a couple of times he's done that, Hibbert. I think they'll... No, thought about it. He did. The umpire thought about it. He's a master, Hibbert, of doing that. It's an art form. They practice that at training. It's a great drill to watch. Tossed in. Reaching forward was Griffin. Barlow, the clever hand pass. Courage from Dempsey. Went in solidly. Spills across to Fife, who immediately puts it out of bounds on the full. 8.5 minutes out from three-quarter time. Who would have sensed this at halftime? The Bombers down on their knees. Hey, maybe this is a morality play. The Bombers come back and snatch it, out of defence. The high ball from Carlisle. Bell Chambers was up, spilt the mark. Griffin, the high ball back towards full forward. Pavlich is there. The Pav's been a Pav not tonight. It's taken away around the outer side by Hooker. Ball runs loose. First back is Clancy Pearce. They'll regroup and come again, Fremantle. Spurs got it. Sends it back to the 50. In front is Fife. Dempsey got his fingertips to it. Loose ball at the back. Hibbert, what'll he do this time? Even he wasn't going to try it a third time.
It's almost like down here, boys, it's taken Essendon and a half to get back into the tempo of an intense game of AFL footy. None at all last week, but they're really there now. Freo are starting to fumble the football.
Winners by 148 points last week, Richo. It's a completely different story, but they're well and truly back in this ball game now. Hibbert over the footy a long time. It spilt out Goddard's way. Tried to get his boot to it. It ends up with the ball, who kicks inside 50. Well done, Carlisle again. Hooker again, an important hand in there, and Carlisle. It was Collier, in fact, he got it to Stanton, and the mark taken by Mundy, who plays on quickly. He spotted a man on his own, Walters.
That's a great kick. That is a great kick. The thing that's been really noticeable about Essendon in this particular part of the game is that in the first half, they were outnumbered, Lee, always at the ball. Yeah. I reckon the simple instruction was, at half-time, if they get 9 there, we get 10. If they get 12 there, we get 13. It is really noticeable how much more they're banging in at the ball now.
And Michael Walters, the famous story, he grew up in the same street as Chris Yarran and Nick Nat Nui. He's lived in their shadows for much of his AFL career. This time last year, he was at Swan Districts on football exile behind.
And he got that kick because he was out on the open side of the field blocking Essendon from changing direction, and he just stood there and was able to get the uncontested mark on the rebound back in.
Walters getting the first score for Freo in this term. Clancy Pearce able to punch it out of bounds. 6.5 minutes to go till three-quarter time. Just 10 points in it. Wider, very conscious of Bradley. Backhands it down. Out of midair by Collier. High ball towards the wing. Prodigious leap by Kavanagh. Swooping on the crumb was Howlett. Gives it across towards Hurley. Back to Howlett. Took his eye off it momentarily. Runs to the 50. Searching kick. Davey lurking at the back. Trying for some mischief. It didn't come off. Leaning back in the race is Sutcliffe. Not the place to be on the deck, but the ball goes out of bounds. And the Dockers get a reprieve. And suddenly the pressure has gone to the other coach's box. It was all on the Bombers in the first half. It's been a transformation. Ross Lyon not on good terms with himself or the players right here. Barlow, Pearce out of the congestion.
Didn't look like he was on good terms with Peter Sumich actually either, forwards coach. Ball here now with Zaharakis. Again, Goddard, he sends it inside 50 and comma. Right place, right time. He's marked 40 metres out. A chance here to go back and make it just a 4-point ball game on the back of 5 consecutive goals for Essendon.
Just a little bit. Kavanagh got a few in there, and Comma's got one. Giving it off to Goddard.
He gives it to Goddard. A prodigious kick, a long effort on goal. It's just offline. It's an 8-point ball game. Make it 9. A 9-point ball game, Dan.
He's got to pick you up on a Baz. The short one comes across towards Pearce. Out against the boundary line. Just a little chip intended for Mazungu. It runs on. Crowley. And that's been the story of the night to players of both sides. That football, just when you think you know what it's going to do and you've got it, it does something unexpected. We've seen it in the kicking in particular. There's a blooper reel on kicking tonight. Bradley locks up with Ryder down in front. Stanton held a while. Bradley to Fife. Fife a long high kick inside the forward 50. Walters, illusions of grandeur right there, launching himself with the big guys, and the ball runs out of bounds, but he's a spark on the forward line. Probably at the moment the best chance they've got to kick a goal, he or Ballantyne. Bradley slaps it down. Zaharakis met solidly by Crowley. Eventually it comes to Fife. Oh, that's good effort. Ballantyne, what a wonderful mark. Breathtaking.
Pavlich and Carlisle were going to be underneath the footy, but he just He just read it really early. He's looking to come in on his right side and snap it across his body. He loves that, but just came back with the flight of the ball. Great effort.
This has become the equivalent of footy's belly putter, hasn't it? Doing this. He snaps and misses. He's missed to the near side. Pulled it back too sharply. But the build-up there was good, in as much as their creative players, their tough workers, like Mundy, right under the pack.
10-point ball game. Essendon coming. Freo haven't kicked a goal in this term. Watson, bottom of the pack, handball for Heppel, and he couldn't control it at his feet. Boundary throw in. So 7-7 Fremantle. They were 7-5 at half-time. Their lead was 36 points. Tossed in quickly. Kepler Bradley, Ryder at the back. Missed by Joe Watson. He went to sock it off the ground. Stanton, was he taken without the footy? Umpire says no, it'll be thrown in again. So they catch their breath. There's just under 4 minutes remaining in this third term. Melksham there. Mzungu, bottom of the pack. Daniel Pearce, and then a quick kick forward and towards the line.
They're using their spare now, Essendon, at the contest league.
Yeah, gets
Freo
bit of
dropping
space.
theirs off behind, so they're just deciding, okay, well, let's just outnumber them wherever they are on the ground.
Boundary throw in. Fife.
Couldn't help them there.
Sends it down towards half forward. Hibbert goes back. Pavlich was coming up. Carlisle has been the master against Pavlich. That's an ambitious hand pass. Running out of space close to the boundary line was Kavanagh. In fact, it's Collier, and we'll have a throw in.
You've got to be aware if you're forward of the ball, because really the ball's just been kicked quickly out of the pack. No one's running it out, so you've just got to be ready for that quick kick forward.
Griffin, beaten by Ryder. Hill advances the ball about 5 metres. Zaharakis smothered off the boot by Subin. Comes across to Watson. Wonderful hand pass. Swept it across towards Heppel. His hand pass missed the target. It was intended for Dempsey. Socket off the ground by Hocking. Coming up is Dawson. Strong tackle. Put Pearce down. Hurley hand passes to Cramry. Kicking at his third, Cramry. But he may have been trying for the boundary in that pocket. I know it sounds strange, but maybe just getting all the troops down this end of the ground.
And he had to do it very awkwardly, so the umpire didn't actually ping him. I think it was just, he was trying to get off the outside of his left foot, but wasn't able to make any contact much.
Griffin was held. He'll get the free kick. So 2:45 to three-quarter time.
A bit of a pressure valve released there for Fremantle. The kick to Pavlich, not Brady. Might have been hung on to there. Mzungu running with Comer. He got it forward to the next contest. Walters, they've got the numbers here, Essendon. They paddle to Zaharakis. He turns inside for Hibbert, who looks upfield. A long kick towards the 50. Where's the big fly? Bell Chambers from the side. Davey waiting down. Out for Watson, the skipper, for 5 in a row. Offline or behind, and now it's a 9-point ball game. 9 points, just over 2 minutes remaining in this third term. It was 36 points at half-time. It's been a wonderful third term by the Bombers.
Johnson to himself goes short to Dawson, who dropped it. Johnson butters up again. Well done. Gave support. Kicks towards the wing. That's a good grab. Under duress. In front. Ballantyne. Fremantle haven't kicked a goal for 37 minutes of playing time. Kicks beyond the wing. Crashing into the pack was Hooker. Brilliant pickup by a tall player, Ryder. Gives it to Myers, who is standing still. The hand pass put him under terrible pressure. Kicks it about 10 metres. Johnson didn't have the footy. In goes an arm of Pearce to slap it away from Comer. In the opposite direction it was Ballantyne. Rolls out of the pack to Bohr. That's sneaky. He drags Myers with him. It spills across towards Crowley, who's taken high. And Crowley will get a free kick. It's a battlefield. All these Pyrrhic victories in close. Crowley plays on. Long kick towards the 50. Off hands. Spills towards Howlett. Left it behind. Zaharakis only as far as Pavlich. Pavlich strong. Broke free. Falling to the ground. Fife to Barlow. Get under this and play fair. Well, he does. Pearce. If that's 15. Pearce goes towards the pocket. Terrible kick. Hibbert goes back.
Hibbert got an important hand in there. Now he needs to find it on the ground. He slid. This could be a free kick Fremantle's way. No, it's the other way for high contact. Well, that appears to be against what we were instructed during the off-season. And then Barlow with something to say in 50 metres. How did you see it, Lee?
Yeah, I'd like to see the replay. Exactly, it's hard to know exactly what happened. Couldn't quite. We know we got the high free kick, but the contact that caused that, I wasn't quite sure from a long way away.
You could see Barlow running inside to the umpire, pointing at his feet, saying he slid in. There has been a couple this quarter which seem to be against what we've been told would be paid. Yeah,
it did seem that way, Richo, didn't it? Hocking now with a footy. Essendon doing the attacking. They've been terrific. Cramery, is that a mark? It's paid. And that might be 50.
Oh, the umpire has given the... No, he has given the 50.
50 it is. He will waltz to within 10 metres of the goal line. This will be 5 in a row for the Essendon Bombers, and they will trail by just 3 points. Seconds out from three-quarter time. A remarkable comeback from a team under siege on the field in the first half and under siege all week off the field. He's got to kick the goal, Cramery. He's kicked 2 already. Gets close to the man on the mark. He kicks. Essendon have kicked 5 in a row. It's a 3-point ball game.
It's been a remarkable change, hasn't it? They've got 5 goals, Essendon, so that's the good news for them. But they've just stopped Fremantle completely. This was the mark, and Fremantle play had to just be a little bit careful for the second player in to make sure you don't give away the 50. But just been able to shut down Fremantle, starting to win the clearances, and last 5 goals. Game's alive.
Did look like Johnson had a hand in that marking contest as well, didn't it, Lee? But
yeah, he may well have.
Freo had plenty going for them in the first half. Full credit to Essendon. Siren sounds to end a fascinating third quarter. Crowd boos. You wonder about the thoughts of that man. Terrific effort by Essendon. They've got themselves back in this game.
Momentum, that's for sure. So we'll go with the team that's had the really good quarter, but
so often a side works to get back into the game when they're down like Essendon have been, and then that effort just takes, or seems to take, so much out of them.
I'm with you, Lee. I'm just staying with you. I learnt my lesson on the Monday of the opening round. One down by Bill Chambers. I tipped against you. I was wrong. There's 5 kicks it down towards half forward. Socket off the ground by Walters out towards the boundary. Hocking leads. Walters desperate. Picked up by Ballantyne. Foxing for a free and very lucky. Ballantyne looks inside. Sends a high ball over Crowley's head, and Crowley misjudged it completely and clattered into the back of Stanton.
Essendon went inside 14 times in that third term for 10 scores, so they're really able to break the defences down of Fremantle's.
Goddard runs up towards the wing, kicks it as hard as he can down towards the half-forward line, and Comer wins a free kick. So a chance for the Bombers against everything we thought at halftime to grab the lead right here. Hurley goes with a side spinning ball down towards full forward, in front, push in the back, and a free kick will go to Spur. So they hang on to the lead, at least for the moment. Spur to the pocket.
Kepler-Bradley, a difficult bouncing ball. He gathers, long kick to Boer on Watson. De Boer did well, used the body illegally according to the umpire. Just nudged Watson under it and then took a clever mark, and now Pavlich. Probably the man that needs to spark them. And he's been quiet, the skipper.
Move it on. Play on.
Freo up by just 3 points. Main. Called to go. Now it's Fremantle with nothing to kick to. First half they were freewheeling. Mundy with Heppel just chopping the arm. Bit lucky there, Fremantle. Mundy. What a complete contrast it is to the first half. As soon as they got the footy, they were off Fremantle. Not now. It's changed remarkably. And Bell Chambers, big man, holds them up. That's a gutsy mark. Stanton, short one. Heppel with the football.
I guess it's a hard style of footy to play as Heppel runs close to that boundary line, exposes the ball to Johnson. Cleared a path, it falls behind. Spur into Mines. Clancy Pearce. That's not a good kick. David Heppel Now, if he gets going in this last quarter, Goddard, he's worked hard throughout. Goddard inside the centre square to Melksham. Melksham takes on the man on the mark. Runs past him too. Kicks down towards half forward. Fisted away from Hurley. Chance for Comma. Hurley kept running. Well done. Hurley looks down towards full forward. Kicks to the advantage of Ryder. Almost the juggled mark pursued by Bradley. Hooks it back across his body. And Pearce drifting back. Clancy Pearce takes the mark in the goal square.
Plays on immediately. Short. Barlow. Back pocket. As we've said, Tim, now when Fremantle look upfield, not a lot to go to. Now Barlow, high one. Griffin pushed out. Melksham with a big fly, didn't mark 5. He managed to get it forward. Hibbert, who's been terrific. No whistle there from the umpire either. Heppel over the footy, wrestling with Walters, and the ball will be bounced.
And you've seen early in this quarter already the Bombers have been able to get the ball into the corridor and play on. We didn't see any of that in the first 3 quarters, really.
3.5 gone in this final term. No score as yet. Howlett over the footy. Comma. He got it out the back cleverly to Zaharakis to put Essendon in front. It needed to bounce the other way. It went left and almost grazed the behind post. 2 points Fremantle's lead.
Just going back to that point I was making about the style of footy being difficult. There's a good kick in. Spur made it look even better. It was kicked to his advantage and he juggled the mark. But taxing physically Fremantle from one end to the other. They get the numbers. And harder mentally, I would think. So much discipline required to lock down on players. You get tired and suddenly that starts to ebb away. Full credit though to Essendon. They've exploited that since half-time. Spur's got it. Man on the mark. Right on the centre line. Spur goes back to Johnson. Still to kick a goal in the second half. That's not Johnson, that's the team. High ball from behind. Thought Main was going to fly, didn't. Zaharakis brilliant in the third term to Stanton. Back to Zaharakis. Hurried kick down towards half forward. Up comes Hurley.
Hurley play.
There they go.
Quickly to Comma. He releases him. This to put Essendon in front. 2 bounces the West Australian. Gets to the top of the square. Kicks. Bombers in front. Remarkable. 37 points was Fremantle's lead midway through the second quarter, and all of that has been wiped away. Essendon by 4 points. Fremantle 7-7. Essendon 7-11.
Another ground level goal. There's been 14 goals kicked and only 2 of them have been for marks. It's just been Essendon have kicked their 6 goals since half time by just midfielders flowing into their forward 50, getting the extra number forward of the ball.
Freo led by 37 points. It's all been knocked off now. Essendon by 4 points. The Bombers in perhaps one of the biggest weeks in the club's history, certainly one of the biggest weeks off the field. They have been
holding the ball
amazing. It just built out lead. Barlow got his hands on it, might have saved Fremantle there. Well done, Spur. He gathered the football and kept running, but the kick not good. Falling over Dempsey, should have got a free kick. Walters all over him, no free kick. Myers, ball out the back. Goddard, now Stanton.
Little chip kick towards the wing. Collier, who's been lively, wheels around under no pressure, belated pressure in fact. Kick down towards the 50. Dawson could have been held. Knocked away by Cramry. Ball close to the boundary line and out it goes. Well, what about the chairman, eh?
Yeah.
David Evans.
The game is going a bit better now than it was about 30 minutes ago.
And sometimes that's why we go to the footy, I reckon.
Absolutely,
just to forget.
Never know.
Yeah. Heppel, Hocking, out against the line. Misses. Hits the behind post. A boundary throw in. Good result for the Bombers right there. 4 points. The Bombers lead by. What a transformation. Watson dancing out of the pack, trying to set it up for Heppel. And Heppel kicks the goal. Oh, brilliant. 7 straight goals for Essendon. And that was the Brownlow medalist at his best. The poise, the ball handling, and the finish. Heppel did the rest.
As we're picking your way through close quarters, the Watson just had a bit of space to actually feed the ball into Heppel's path, and under pressure he was good enough to kick the goal. They're making all the play now, Essendon.
Mentioned earlier that James Hird as a coach had come back from 6 goals behind once before, round 17, 2011, in the process perhaps of doing it here. The only other men to do it as Essendon coaches, Kevin Sheedy twice and Dick Reynolds. So it's a fair club. And what a performance by their team. Clancy Pearce off half-back, the lead now 10 points. As Dennis said, an amazing transformation. The last 7 goals of the game to the team in red and black. Here's Watson trying to get it to Davey. Collier gathers now. He was slow to get rid of it, spills out the back. Touch ball, you heard the call. The kick wobbled forward. It was Spur, now over the footy. Barlow needs to be careful. Gathered by Dempsey, his quick kick forward off the boot, off the side and out of bounds on the full.
Gee, Paddy Ryder's been good in the ruck as the game's going on him. Because he's a really agile, mobile ruckman, when he's got his eye in, he just gives the team so much more speed because he's quick in that position.
There he is again, lurking behind Hooker though, trying to kick it forward. Ballantyne. You've got to say Fremantle don't look dangerous at the moment. No,
Essendon are shutting them down in terms of, well, they've kicked 2 behind since half-time, so they can't find a way forward at all.
Ryder again, laid it down at his feet. Howlett had it smothered off the boot. Well done by Barlow. Pearce emerges with it. Daniel Pearce goes a second time to Fife. Lucky there, but they'll take it. Pavlich works his way in front, battles after the ball. Stolen away, though, by Hibbert. Hibbert kicks it back to midfield. Collier's over it. Well played by Subin. Crawls after it. Diving in there, Zaharakis in the opposite direction was Fife. And the umpire blows the whistle.
Guys, Carlisle has been absolutely outstanding all night on Pavlich. When you see Pavlich one-on-one like that, more often than not, he takes a mark or wins it at ground level. Carlisle, what a great job he's done.
50 minutes since Fremantle's last goal. 5-0. It is incredible. Comma now to Watson. He just got enough boot to ball. It was stolen by Mzungu, though, and trip now. A trip by Comma. I don't think Essendon will mind that. Mzungu was about to blaze away and blaze forward. Here's Pearce. Daniel Pearce outside 50. Walters is going to be the target, and Walters marks on his chest. He was well positioned. The kick came his way. He plays on quickly, and finally, after 51 minutes, Fremantle have kicked a goal.
Now the game's alive. I mean, Essendon have made all the running in the second half of the game, but it's amazing when you can get that first goal to break the run as Fremantle have done. That'll give them an enormous impetus. So when the game looked like it was slowly slipping away, they just got the extra couple of blokes forward. And again, it's a mark, but it's a small player. None of the big forwards. I mean, Hurley's been pretty good for Essendon, but none of the big forwards for Fremantle have been much good. But their small players have always looked dangerous at times, and Walters.
The other thing to remember is McFarlane went out of the game very, very early. During that third quarter, Essendon have been able to bring their sub on. Basically, since the 5-10 minute mark of the first quarter, Freo have had the 21 players available only.
Watson emerges with a footy. Barlow smothered the kick. Watson taken to ground. It comes back in Barlow's direction. Heppel can't walk it out. Mzungu tries to feed it back to Bradley. Bradley pulled it back in. Needs to be careful. Attacking the football and going down is Comma in the grasp. I think it might be De Boer in there, and we'll have a ball up.
Stand up. Zaharakis was just sitting out there on the wing on his own too.
Everything to play for. And then some. Barlow kicks to half forward. A bit of a Fremantle rally going on at the moment. Carlisle taken down by Ballantyne. Loose ball back there. Hooker under pressure, played it well. Gives it to Dempsey. Confronted by Pavlich. Just the 2 possessions in the second half for Pav. Now Carlisle, his master, comes across the ground. Melksham under pressure, gets the kick off. Up towards the wing. Subin over the top. Working behind is Howlett. Beats it off to Hocking.
Hocking now drives the ball. Vacant man is Hurley, all on his own. He marks. He's about 55 from home. He sends it long down towards full forward. Bell Chambers was there. It bounces and bounces through for a behind. Essendon's lead now 5 points. 8-12, 8-7. Muzungu marks the quick kick in.
Gee, they got away with one there. Subin had to come off his man Comer, and then they had an overlap all the way down to Hurley. Lucky to get away with that, Fremantle.
Bombers by 5 points.
You've got to ask the question now, Tim, of an Essendon legend. I mean, if they get up and win this game, this has got to rank as one of their great victories, given everything that's gone on. Down 6 goals at half-time, away from home and not looking like it. It's been outstanding.
Fife taken down. Heppel over the top, content to kick the ball in, and the umpire says he didn't make an attempt. Playing on immediately, Heppel. Kicks inside the forward 50. Hurley launched himself. Muzungu sort of put it on the ground. Davey twisting, turning, gets out of trouble. Sends it to a dangerous situation. Knocked away from Crameri. Surrounded, though, by Dockers. Sutcliffe comes back to Johnson. Johnson hard against the boundary line. Goes out to the 2 number 1s. Hibbert and Ballantyne. And Ballantyne content to fight for the draw that time and get it out of bounds.
It'd have to be right up there, wouldn't it, Tim, if they could win?
Oh, absolutely, Basil. I wasn't ignoring your question.
I realise that. No, I realise that.
There's just so much going on in this last quarter.
Sure is. So much going on in that coach's box as well. What a week for James Hird. What a 48 hours. Yeah, it would be a stirring victory for Essendon and for James Hird.
Barlow's stuck on the ground here too, but Basil, sorry to butt in. He's just sneaking all the way down to the forward line here.
And Walters, he might sense that they've got players forward, and Barlow there, Main as well. It could go across. Main kicks, and Fremantle are back in front. Well, Tim called it. It was Barlow breaking, Main as well. They had multiple options. Had snuck on the ground. It was actually 2-on-1 in a vacant 50-metre arc for Fremantle. And Main now, with Fremantle back in front by a point. Chris Main with 3 goals.
Fremantle's biggest lead was 37.
He's been dangerous again, Walters. When he gets the ball, he's just able to break into the bit of space, and just that gives him enough time, and it just unsettles the other defenders round him. When he's been getting the ball, and Ballantyne every now and again, that's when they've been looking their best down there.
Yeah, right now Walters is looking the most dangerous forward, the man most likely. Heppel out of the middle. Chris Main's got 3 goals. Down towards half forward come the Bombers. Fremantle led by 37. Essendon got out by 10. Now Fremantle back in front. Courage by Collier going back to the flat of the footy. Oh, just getting a hand in there was Duffield in the nick of time. Hand passes to Barlow. Barlow wasn't running too hard there. He was flat-footed. In fact, we'll have a ball up. Griffin very conscious of Ryder. Falls behind the pair. Subin. Subin sends it up towards the wing. Oh, good mark. Haven't seen many of those. Main releases Ballantyne. Ballantyne is 70 metres out. Hangs a long time in the air. Pitches and goes through for a minor score, which isn't the best result for Fremantle. Essendon get the footy back.
2-point ball game, Dan. Carlisle, who's been fantastic tonight on Matthew Pavlich. Absolutely outstanding. The skipper has hardly had a sniff, and he kicks in long. Hooker couldn't quite mark Comer now. Important here. He did that well for Essendon, gained about 20 metres and went again hard.
Oh, yes. I think that one's been the sliding rule played against, and the 50-metre penalty.
Well, that's unlucky against Comer, because Comer seemed to slide a long time before his Fremantle opponent drifted across at spur when he was already on the deck.
Yeah, I mean, whether you agree with the rule, that's the interpretation. I think one player decided to dive at the footy.
And then, of course, Lee, the 50 metres just to exacerbate the situation.
Yeah, that was just unlucky because Essendon played the ball on.
So Spur, 2 points Fremantle's lead. He's going to kick from just inside the 50 to make it 8 points. It swings and it's offline, and perhaps a little bit of justice for Essendon. Let's have another look.
One player dives low, the other guy keeps his feet and goes into his feet. I think that's a pretty standard one, to be honest.
Fair enough.
When you see it from that replay.
Just on it though, Lee, in the past we've seen players dive at the ball, players fall into their back, and that's a free kick the other way. Yeah. Hard for the players to adjust in the space of one pre-season.
Apple gave it to Harlan at close quarters, kept it alive too, did he? Gets it across towards Hurley. Hurley slips it away to Kavanagh. Kavanagh under pressure, goes back to Watson. He'll do something constructive, and he does. Finds Melcham. Hand passes to Myers. Myers a natural left footer. He can kick it a long way too. He pounds it hard into the turf. He wanted it to come back. Looks up and he finds Goddard, or is it Hurley? It's Hurley inside the 50. That was hard running because Hurley was in the centre square when that run started. He flooded back and then came back to the footy. Kick is on the way. Vacant goal square. Summed it up brilliantly. He's got two. And the lead returns to the Bombers. The advantage of hard work pays off. Got 6 against Fremantle last time they played Michael Hurley. And he summed it up very well. It was a controlled kick because there was nobody close to the goal line. Sent it through at about head high.
This was outstanding by Myers. The decision making and the ball use here. He had the ball. He knew he couldn't blaze inside 50. Duffield was back. He waited for Hurley to make position and then hit up at the footy. Terrific decision making.
Essendon by 3 points now, so it's Fremantle that need the next goal. Mundy to Barlow, quick ball inside 50. Well done again. How terrific has he been tonight, Jake Carlisle? Simply outstanding. And Pav, a hard man to move. Pearce, it wasn't a good kick. Now Pearce keeps it low. It might get out of bounds. And you saw there Carlisle acknowledging that poor skill error, but still making amends. He got to Pav. He got to the footy before Pavlich again. He has been close to their best player tonight, if not indeed their very best. Watson, Fife. Ball spills out. Here's Griffin, an unlikely goal kicker from this situation. It's drifting back, bending back, it bounces. Bradley keeps it alive for Fremantle. Dempsey close to the line now. Hooker, he escorts it over and it'll be thrown in.
3 points the margin. Mostly purple looking on. Pavlich came out of the pack minus the football. Myers stands up in a tackle, supplied by Griffin.
Going to have to absorb a lot of pressure here now, Essendon. Behind the football, Dawson is loose. They've got a good structure.
Griffin, clean possession. How did he get rid of that? He managed to anyway. Walters again, the firebrand. He pulls it back. It bounces through for a minor score. And again, Essendon get the footy back. Walters looks the potential match winner if Fremantle are going to win.
Hibbert's done the kicking in for most of the night. Bell-Chambers couldn't mark. He needed to wrap that one up. It's close to the line. And Duffield escorts it over. James Hird, hand to the forehead. So much to think about for him in a football sense, and obviously with issues away from the football field. His composure over the last couple of days has been remarkable. Here's Daniel Pearce, he sends it long. Walters, he's loomed as the match winner. Dennis said just a moment ago he's played that well. Pavlich, could Pavlich get boot to ball and kick a goal? He did. It had been injustice for Carlisle. It drifted across the face and just to behind.
It was like a soccer cross, that was it.
Gee, the pressure on now. Some players can play the basics well. Don't give away the cricket. Get in for the ball first. But basically just make sure you don't make that fatal error that gives the opposition the chance to win it.
Fife under pressure. Kicks it back to the man who kicked it in his direction, Dempsey, and the ball goes out of bounds. Now, Walters was a bit unlucky in that tackle, I thought. He played up the first one, which wasn't a free, and I reckon he copped one high the second time. But the umpire, not sure he could trust him.
5-3 here.
Watson goes after the ball. Pearce is in there. Crowley trying to wrench it out of there.
And Ryder's had his rest off the ball, so he's now gone back in, and Bell Chambers has probably got off the field. So they've looked just better in there than when Ryder's been in the ruck for them.
Point the difference. Dempsey comes out backwards, heads for the boundary line and runs it out.
It's so critical now that Essendon, given that it's at this end of the field, that they man up around these stoppages. Fife was free at that last stoppage. He's now being manned up by Zaharakis.
Griffin has done so well in there. Knocked off the boot by Pearce of hooker. It goes out of bounds.
Essendon trailed by as much as 37 points during the second term. They were 6 goals down at half-time, trailed by 3 points at three-quarter time. They've hit the lead in this final term, but right now Essendon by just a point. Pavlich out wide. Daniel Pearce. Fremantle need that one. It's offline. Gee, had plenty of time there, and he's a cool customer. You would have expected him to kick that. Scores are level at Patterson Stadium.
This is where Essendon will actually miss Dustin Fletcher in the last part of this game as well, because he's such a good control of the ball, but he's also a very good kick-in player.
Myers kicks outside the defensive 50. Opportunity for Subban. Then there is Collier. Collier breaks away. Outside the defensive 50. Kicks beyond the wing. Hurley is outnumbered. Goes after the football. Needs to be careful. Howlett trying to lend assistance. Hurley comes out minus the football. His teammates got it. And eventually, Essendon have been penalised. Well, that's interesting. I think Hurley went in with the footy. Somehow it transferred across to Howlett. Call it a team holding the ball as it goes down towards half-court. We used to have those two. In goes Subban. He's on his knees. Subban trying to get a hand pass through the legs. Still he's going. Subban feeds it back towards Barlow. The hair flying from Comma. In fact, there's a bit of hair in there. Mazungu. Oh, look at that. Two Barbers have switched off. They might like the footy, the Barbers, but they hate to see that.
Scores level. Fremantle have never played in a drawn match. There's a free kick going Fremantle's way. Nat Fife.
That was interesting because Fife was going to jump.
Ruckman, though, is he?
No, he was going to jump third up, I'm sure. And you're allowed to block the player to drop first for jumping third up. I think they might have been unlucky through. We'll have a look at it, I'm sure, later. Have a look at it. Good look.
Just over 4 minutes to play. It's a long one down towards the square. Hill missed it. Here's Daniel Pearce. He gets another opportunity. A chance to make amends for the previous miss. Well done, Hibbert. He marked the football and then got running straight away. Sprints away from Pav. Kicks towards half-back. Spur went up and marked. He couldn't find the footy on the chest. Ball on the deck now. Cramery, well done. Got his handball away. Kavanagh, brilliant. Kept the ball moving forward. Burley on the end of it, or will he be the ball over the line? To be thrown in with 3.5 minutes to play. Scores level.
Yeah, he's paid deliberate, guys. Oh, that is outrageous.
He's paid deliberate, guys.
Outrageously.
That's just a... Yeah, no, that's rough.
Johnson kicks beyond the wing, then going back with courage. Goddard found it on the deck. Well played. Gives it to Collier. Bombers move it forward. Getting back in number. The Dockers. Johnson surrounds the footy, needs support, heads for the boundary line, taken across by Duffield.
Let's have a look at this. It's a long...
They've been kicking those all night. I mean, what the Dockers did then is as deliberate as what that kick was.
Absolutely. And based on kicking form tonight, the umpire's taking a bit on, isn't he? They've been flying all over the compass. Marcus taken in defence by Dawson.
Play on.
He's called play on. Must have been touched, was it? Comma. I didn't hear the call. Zaharakis goes in. Any score. Bombers will lead. There's a whistle. And it may be a throw against the Bombers. It's coming back. Oh, last gasp stuff. And it will be a free kick down there to Fremantle.
That's the throw. That's clear enough. I don't know what the play on was for the mark. Must have been touched off the boot.
Less than 3 minutes to play now, and scores still level. Long one from Clancy Pearce. Comes out the back to Goddard. He sends it back towards the 50. Fly from Howlett, waiting down Dawson. Dawson. Good tackle, Stanton. Gathered now by Crameri. It's a high ball. Don't think it's gone the required distance. Crowley, he messed up with a teammate, Clancy Pearce. It comes out the back to Collier to give them the lead.
Across the front.
It's out of bounds on the full. We've seen so many out of bounds on the full tonight from set shots. That was a flying shot from Collier under pressure. Still all tied up.
Duffield towards the wing. Backing in. Myers tackled by Walters. Comes to Pearce. Hit hard by Hocking. The footy and Pearce over the boundary line. Both, but as far as the other. James Hird. What's rushing through his mind at the moment? What a week. Bradley in front, didn't touch the footy, knocked down by Ryder. Goddard kicks in an oncoming Docker. Fife gets onto the crumb, sends it down towards half forward. Ballantyne is lurking. Back comes Pavlich. They meet at the football. Spills wide to Collier. Chance for the Bombers. That's an untidy kick. Back inside, Fremantle's forward 50. Under pressure, Hooker. Carlisle's kick was smothered. He's surrounded by Dockers, but he got it out of there. Well done, taken by Dempsey. Touched off the boot, it spills across towards Hocking. Back he comes to Dempsey. Dempsey under pressure. He kicks it and finds Comma.
Comma right in front of the interchange gates. Go. Just over 90 seconds to go. Zaharakis urged to go by Tim Watson. It was through the hands of Crameri. He pulled up a little sore there, Watson.
Got the numbers.
Got a touch on it. It comes back to Crameri. The kick was smothered. Now Dempsey. He turns around. It's not Dempsey, it's Ryder. He's kicked the goal. Essendon, a goal in front with a minute to play.
He's been dangerous all night, Ryder. I just think his second half, it's not so much statistically, but he's just given him so much life around that ruck stoppage area. And again, compared to the other ruckmen on the field, he's got ground level agility. And, well, they had the numbers. It was only a matter of this is Carlisle in the back half. He was outnumbered, just finally got it clear. But Ryder, fantastic ground level finish. Minute to go, 6 points.
Well, they've left nothing out there tonight, the Bombers. Could have really just closed the door at half-time. And they've done anything but. Bad bounce. Umpire wants it back. And you've got to say, as a couple of seconds go off the clock, Fremantle not a goal in a minute 10 team. It'll be hard to win from here for them. They need clean ball, and they need it now. And Mundy emerges with it. Kicks it down towards half forward. Over the top, Ballantyne. Over the footballer's hill. He's been quiet in the second half. Ugly pack around it. And we'll get a ball up.
Essendon just have to push all their numbers back here now and just hold this ball in.
Fremantle playing for a draw. They've never had one. They need one now. Fife slaps it out of the pack. Mundy couldn't control it. Comes across to Duffield. Vacant goal square. Oh! It's done a Stephen Milne bounce and gone the wrong side of the opening. How about that? You would have had money in flight that is going to bounce to the right. It's gone left. 5 points the difference. Still 40 seconds to go. They can still pull it out of the fire.
Might end up being a vital point. Long kick in from Hibbert. Bell Chambers couldn't mark. Here's Fife to send them back inside. Duffield had it fisted away. Clancy Pearce gathers the football. He kicks inside 50. Ball was touched. It spills to Hill. He draws the man. Handball for Main. He hits the post. Chris Mains hit the post from only 13 metres out. It's a 4-point ball game with 21 seconds remaining. Oh, what a game. Chris Main was going for his fourth.
Well, the footy hit the post, the phone hit the wall. Kick comes outside the defensive 50. Plenty of Dockers around it still. Essendon need to hang on. Griffin has been manful. Kicks it around the corner. Hacked out of there by Melksham. We're down to 7 seconds. This will be a famous victory for the Bombers. Coming through is Goddard. They've got it won. Listen to the siren. What sweet music it is for the Bombers. What a comeback. What a week.
Well, he's hurt himself too.
Why don't we go inside?
Well, let's talk about the game for a minute.
All night. Let's talk about it all night.
Let's talk about pressure and the way you handle that pressure. I mean, we didn't handle it well early, did we? They were much better than us early. We didn't handle our use of the ball. We fumbled the ball. But when we talk about who we want to be and the way we want to play them, when we train to play, it changed. When you played the way you trained, the game changed. You're going to have to handle more pressure than that in finals and bigger games. But to come from 5 goals down, 6 goals down at Subiaco and beat a very, very good pressure team and run them off their legs is an incredible effort. It is an incredible effort. And it was done with a fair bit of this on it. A fair bit of this was done because you know how to play the game and you know how to change the game. And I think, Jakey, you said at the start of the game, let's coach ourselves out in the ground. That's what leadership is all about, coaching yourselves when things aren't going right. Well done to everybody in this footy club. Tonight was an amazing effort. Everything has been incredible. We just got to keep it going, right? We've got to keep it going. You've got to enjoy your win, get to bed when you get to bed, wake up the next morning and let's go.
What do you mean by that?
In the hotel. In the hotel. But let's go after St Kilda. I mean, anything is possible. Anything is possible if you continue to play with that hunger and train with that hunger and play the way you play. I'm so proud of you. I thank you so much. And I personally just thank you. Thank you. Thank
you. Well, I just think that from a player's perspective, that the way the club is handling it and the people around it, it's comforting to come to the club and see these people here, because you know that people inside the football club care about you and that they're the people you can lean on. So from David down, I know that when I'm around the footy club and these guys are around the footy club and around each other, that will be okay. It's really special because it's the people in this room who make it like that.
Pleasure.